Chapter 1624. The Yin-Yang world had become Su Fang's most powerful attack. Why was that? It was because all the other divine powers, including the gigantified body of the diamond, were Su Fang's single power. At most, they could only be used together with other divine powers. However, Su Fang had turned himself into a world and released the power of the Yin-Yang world, which gathered all his power. Moreover, Su Fang's world of Yin and Yang was a god-level power. The godly might of the world was an evolution of his own world and not a divine ability that was naturally formed by the heavens and earth. Its power was naturally immense, reaching a level where it could go against or even suppress an expert at the peak of the high-level Tao realm. However, Su Fang's Yin-Yang world also had its drawbacks. It consumed too much energy. Every time he used his full power, his Yang energy, true Qi, and the power of his true body would be exhausted to the limit that he could bear. In addition, he could only maintain his world for a very short time, which was about 10 breaths' time. Unless it was a critical moment, Su Fang would not use all his power to release the power of the world. He looked around again. Although he had created a powerful formation when he released his world, it was almost completely shattered. The surrounding matter had all turned into dust, and the palace was on the verge of collapse. Su Fang was also shocked by the terrifying power of the Yin-Yang world. At the same time, he was also very happy. After returning to the True Dragon realm, he quickly recovered his severely exhausted true Qi and energy while constantly devouring various pills and spiritual items. About a month later, the primordial spirit of the Tianming Haotsong sect master passed through the formation and said in a majestic voice, Su Fang. Su Fang, who had left a young immortal to keep an eye on the situation outside, immediately flew out of the True Dragon realm and cupped his fists toward the primordial spirit. Sect Master, come to the meeting hall. The sect master's primordial spirit nodded, then turned into a ray of light and disappeared. Looks like the final battle between the immortals and demons is about to erupt. It's time for me, the cannon fodder, to move out. Su Fang smiled coldly, then took a deep breath and left the palace. He passed through layers of barriers. Arriving at the palace where the core of the immortal Tao faction's power was located, Su Fang went through layers upon layers of inspection before entering the palace. The sect master of the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect, some of the important grand elders of the sect, and peak Tao realm experts from other factions were all gathered in the palace. Immortal elder Heavenly Fate was there as well, and he even brought Star-Herding Peak with him, standing behind him. We've received accurate information that the demons will launch their final attack on the immortal Tao camp in half a year's time. The final battle between immortals and demons is not far away. The sect master of the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect said in a solemn voice. Everyone's expression became incomparably solemn. Everyone knew what this battle meant to the immortal Tao world. The sovereign's gaze swept over Su Fang. According to the previous plan, all the major forces will transfer their experts and form a surprise army, which will be led by Su Fang to the rear of the Devil Race's camp. At the critical moment of the war, we will launch a surprise attack on the Devil Race's army. Now is the time to move. Su Fang, are you ready? Yes, disciple can leave at any time. Su Fang cupped his fists. His expression was calm, without the slightest hint of fear or hesitation. Very good. 3 days later, you will lead 1,000 experts, the sovereign said with a nod. Since it was called a surprise army, quality was naturally more important than quantity. Otherwise, it would be easily discovered by the demons, and the surprise attack would lose its effectiveness. According to the previous discussion, the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect and the other factions would jointly select 1,000 experts. Among them, 50 were immortal venerables, while the rest were 9 Tao saint immortals. Although there weren't many of them, judging from their cultivation bases, they were definitely an elite force of the immortal Tao world. However, the reality would definitely not go as planned. Why was that? Even if they could be of great use in this surprise attack on the rear of the Devil Race's army, less than 1 in 10 would survive. They were clearly a bunch of cannon fodder sent to their deaths. None of the factions were fools. Naturally, They wouldn't send their true experts to die in vain, including the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect. None of the factions would send their true experts. Instead, they would send cultivators who were nearing the end of their lifespans or had been pushed aside. In this way, it was easy to imagine the usefulness of this group. The final outcome was also not difficult to imagine. This was the world of immortals. Even when faced with destruction, they were still scheming against each other. Then, the sovereign looked at the immortal Tao experts of the other factions. Everyone, prepare yourselves. Send your experts to the rear of the immortal Tao camp within 3 days. Remember, don't leak any information. One by one, the experts responded, yes. Sect, please don't forget the conditions you promised this disciple. This disciple will take his leave. Su Fong cupped his fists and walked out of the palace. Suddenly, Mu Xing Feng suddenly said, Brother Su, can you bring me with you to this surprise attack on the devil race? Gazes filled with astonishment and surprise landed on the star-herding peak. Su Fong wasn't surprised either. He looked at Mu Xing Feng and then at immortal Elder Tianji. The sovereign raised his eyebrows and said in a low voice, This surprise attack on the devil race's army will be extremely dangerous. It can be said that there is only a slim chance of survival. You are Senior Tianji's only disciple. How can we let you take the risk? The battle for the survival of the immortal Tao is precisely the moment for us to make contributions and make a name for ourselves in the world. How can we allow Su Fong to enjoy such an opportunity alone? Starherder Peak spoke proudly, and his clanging voice carried a strand of arrogance and dominance. The sovereign looked awkwardly at immortal Elder Tianji. Senior Tianji, immortal Elder Tianji, said indifferently, My disciple is also a part of the immortal Tao. Why can other cultivators die, but not my disciple? This is a critical moment of life and death. If you don't have the will to fight with your lives on the line and instead focus on preserving your strength, then the immortal Tao will be completely finished. At that time, how would you have the face to see Yangming? You are all people who have cultivated for tens of millions of years, but you can't even compare to Su Fong, a young cultivator who has cultivated for less than 10,000 years. The sovereign of the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect and the other peerless powerhouses felt ashamed. Mu Xing Feng, I will wait for you outside the formation in 3 days. You and I will fight side by side and kill the demons to our heart's content. Su Fangda said with a smile. Su Fangda then strode out of the palace, exuding an aura of duty-bound righteousness. He wasn't very tall, but at this moment he was so tall and lofty. After leaving, Su Fong didn't return to his residence. Instead, he went to the Grand Star Hall and found Grand Elder Yun for a secret discussion. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Behind the immortal Tao camp, in a world of immortals millions of kilometers away, thousands of cultivators gathered in a valley shrouded in immortal mist. Among these cultivators, there were old men who were nearing the end of their lifespans. There were also those who were rebellious and unruly, and there were also those who had committed heinous crimes and were punished by their sections. They had received orders from their respective sects to come here through the space array. Although they didn't know what the purpose of this trip was, they all knew that it definitely wasn't anything good. Every one of them was either extremely nervous or filled with anger and unwillingness. If it weren't for the presence of a peak Tao realm expert from the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect, and the fact that their divine orifices and golden cores had been shackled before arriving here, they would have been in chaos. Some might have even taken the opportunity to flee. Feng Ling, Tuo Yu, and Ling Yu were among them. They'd been sent here by the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect because of Su Fong. Whoosh! 2 figures appeared above the valley. It was Su Fong and Mu Xing Feng. Su Fong, it's Su Fong. Why is Su Fong here? And Mu Xing Feng, he's the disciple of immortal Tianji. What's he doing here? Everyone recognized Su Fong and Mu Xing Feng at a glance. They couldn't help but be shocked. Then, they all became excited. The 2 of them flew into the valley. Su Fong cupped his fists at the peak Tao realm expert from the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect. Grand Elder, This peak Tao realm expert was the Grand Elder of the Heavenly Mandate Haotsong sect. Even the sect master of the Heavenly Mandate Haotsong sect was very polite to him. He rarely showed his face. This person had some friendship with Su Fang's master, Ji Hong, Immortal Tianji. He didn't have a high and mighty attitude toward Su Fang. The Grand Elder sent out thousands of rune talismans. They rolled towards Su Fang and said, "Everyone is here. Hand them over to Daozi. These people aren't very obedient. Daozi, be careful. These are rune talismans that control the seal seeds in their bodies. If anyone dares to disobey, Daozi only needs to activate the rune talismans to shackle them." Su Fang flipped his palm and put all the rune talismans into his storage ring. "Do you have anything else you want me to tell Ji Hong?" The Grand Elder asked. "Thank you, Grand Elder. I don't have anything to say to Master. However, I hope Grand Elder can remind the sect not to forget some of the conditions that the sect promised me. Those conditions are trivial to the Heavenly Mandate Haotsong sect. I have a good relationship with Ji Hong. Naturally, I will remind the sect master to fulfill his promise to you. Su Fang, this trip will be dangerous. Take care." The Grand Elder nodded. Then, he entered the void and left the valley. "Everyone, you probably still don't know why your faction sent you here, right?" Su Fang's eyes flashed with divine light. He glanced over the 1,000 immortal Tao experts. The restless crowd instantly quieted down. At this time, Su Fang was famous in the great world. In terms of prestige among immortal Tao cultivators, even the Heavenly Mandate Haotsong sect master was ashamed of his inferiority. Su Fang continued slowly. "Next, under my lead, you will go around the demon race's defense line and circle to the back of the demon race's camp. At the final moment of the immortal demon race's final battle, you will deal a fatal blow to the demon race." "Whoosh!" everyone immediately exclaimed. Then, there was a roar full of anger and dissatisfaction. "Sneak attack the demon race. Isn't that sending us to our deaths? The sect is actually treating us as cannon fodder. Although I'm nearing the end of my lifespan, it doesn't mean I want to die. I will never accept the sect treating me like this." Su Fang's deep eyes flashed with disdain. He said in a cold voice, "A bunch of useless trash. Cowards who only know how to drag out an ignoble existence." Equals underscore our download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1625. The cultivators were enraged. They glared at Su Fang with burning eyes. "You're so scared when you hear about the demon race. What you if not cowards?" Su Fang mocked. "I, Su Fang, am a Tao disciple of the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament sect, and Star-Herding Feng is the disciple of the Immortal Elder of Heavenly Fate. We're not afraid of death, so what are you afraid of?" The crowd fell silent. However, they were clearly dissatisfied. Their resentment was not directed at Su Fang, but at the factions they belonged to. "You must think that we're cannon fodder sent to our deaths by the Immortal Path factions. That's exactly the case. However, do you think you can survive by staying with the Immortal Path factions? In the great war of immortals and demons, it's either you die or I die. Once the Immortal Path is defeated, no one will be able to survive. You and I are no exception. Instead of that, why can't we risk our lives? Even if we're used as cannon fodder, we'll do it with a bang." Su Fang displayed the imperious aura of a ruler of an immortal realm. The cultivators were excited. Su Fang looked at the cultivators who were nearing the end of their lifespans and yelled, "Your lifespans are almost up. Since you're going to die sooner or later, why can't you die with a bang?" The cultivators' eyes, which were originally filled with dispiritedness, immediately flickered with vigor. Su Fang glanced at the cultivators who were ostracized or punished by the sects and said domineeringly, "Since you've been abandoned by the sects, why can't you use your own strength to prove yourselves?" The cultivators immediately wore unyielding expressions. Su Fang then said proudly, "Besides, who says you'll definitely die if you follow Su Fang?" The crowd was startled. They immediately recalled that Su Fang had created countless miracles. Could he not create another one this time? Looking at Mu Xing Feng, he was the only disciple of Immortal Elder Tianji, a demigod. If he was going to die in this mission, how could immortal Elder Tianji let him take the risk? This time, if you follow me, my Su Fong cannot guarantee that everyone will survive. However, I can guarantee that you will die with a bang. Your names will be recorded in the annals of the immortal Tao, and you will be revered and worshipped by later generations. If you live, I will make you famous in the great world and become the great heroes of the great world. Su Fong's clanging sound completely ignited the fighting spirit in the hearts of all the cultivators. Whoosh! Su Fong flipped his wrist, and thousands of rune talismans floated in front of him. These rune talismans were the key to controlling these cultivators. Su Fong believes in you. Therefore, we don't need these talismans. Su Fong said decisively. 9 suns, immortal fire rolled out from his body. After a series of sizzling flames, all the rune talismans turned into nothingness. All the cultivators could sense that the seal seeds in their divine apertures and dantian were destroyed along with the rune talismans. They all looked at Su Fong with eyes full of gratitude. In the sect, they were disliked for various reasons. They were ostracized and discriminated against. This time, they were abandoned as cannon fodder. They had never experienced the feeling of being trusted by the higher-ups. At this moment, Su Fong destroyed the rune talismans that controlled them without hesitation. This made them feel grateful and a strong sense of belonging to Su Fong. Putting aside Su Fong's identity and strength, he was so magnanimous. What else could they say if they followed such a person? Fengling and Tuo, you were the first to walk out of the crowd. They knelt on one knee and shouted, "The two of us are willing to take Taoist as our master and become master's subordinates." The two of them had already thought of relying on Su Fong when Su Fong did not hesitate to consume his own life force to save Tuoyu during the Taoist competition. Now, taking Su Fong as their master was a matter of course. Ling Yu hesitated for a moment and also knelt down. The other cultivators suddenly came to their senses and knelt down one after another. They were willing to submit to Su Fong. Su Fong's instigation just now was just to arouse the fighting spirit of these cultivators. There was no other purpose. Unexpectedly, these cultivators all wanted to take him as their master. Su Fong was not surprised. Good. Since you are willing to take me as your master, I, Su Fong, promise that as long as you do not betray your master, Su Fong will not treat you unfairly. I will let you enjoy resources that you have never had before. I will lead you to carve out a path of survival in this calamity and continuously walk towards the peak of the world. Su Fong spoke in a domineering voice and released a divine power that lifted everyone up from the ground. Mu Xingfeng saw this from the side and could not help but be shocked. These motley crew were aroused by Su Fong's words. I still underestimated Su Fong. Not only is his talent, strength, and luck heaven-defying, but he also has the potential to be a leader. No wonder Master said that the last hope of the immortal Tao was on him. I am not as good as such a person. Don't resist. I will put you into the world of the magic treasure. Su Fong said majestically. He activated the true dragon world and released the magic treasure's divine power to cover everyone. Many of the subordinates who had just submitted did not resist under the divine power and allowed Su Fong to put them into the true dragon world. Just like this, Su Fong suddenly had an additional 1,000 subordinates. These 1,000 cultivators were not many in number. However, there were more than 50 immortal venerables. Among them, there were even 3 mid-level Tao realm experts. The rest were all in the same immortal Tao realm and had extraordinary strength. As a result, Su Fong's overall strength had once again increased by a large margin. Before this, the strongest among his subordinates was Bai Ling, followed by Zhu Huang and other powerful big goblin. There were many sane immortal realm cultivators and big goblins, but there were no immortal venerables. With the addition of more than 50 immortal venerables, Su Fong's overall strength could be said to have increased greatly. However, most of these immortal venerables had encountered bottlenecks in their cultivation and were shackled. Therefore, it was difficult for them to improve, causing their lifespans to be exhausted. Fortunately, Before this, Su Fang had obtained countless elixirs, spiritual items, and resources. He had also plundered countless immortal Dao cultivation methods, divine powers, and Dao artifact from young Master Qiming. It was not difficult for him to help most of his subordinates break through. The 1,000 subordinates appeared on a mountain range in the True Dragon world. Spatial magic treasure? Master actually has a spatial magic treasure? This is not an ordinary Dao artifact world, nor is it a mobile cave dwelling. It is a spatial magic treasure. In the macro world, spatial magic treasures were very rare. A spatial magic treasure with such a large area like the True Dragon world was even rarer. Only a top existence in the macro world like the Tianming Hao Tsang sect master could have such a large space. It was like a natural spatial magic treasure. When these cultivators found out that the True Dragon world was a spatial magic treasure, they were naturally shocked. A bunch of ignorant bumpkins. What is a spatial magic treasure? My brother has more treasures than you can imagine. Bai Ling appeared in the sky above the mountain range and sneered at the 1,000 experts who had just become Su Fang's subordinates. However, she did not realize that compared to most of these experts who came from the central immortal domain, she, a big goblin from the desolate immortal domain at the edge of the macro world, was the real bumpkin. Listen up, I am Su Fang's elder sister. In the True Dragon world, I am the boss. In the future, you have to listen to me. Bai Ling finally seized the opportunity and did not forget to put on the airs of an elder sister. Bai Ling was only a demon emperor, but she actually put on the airs of an elder sister. This made some immortal venerables very unhappy. However, with her identity, no one dared to say anything. Swoosh! Swoosh! Bai Ling shot out a Xianguang. Dao weapons, the lowest of which was the peak of the supreme grade, floated in the air. There were also some king-grade Dao weapons of lower quality. There were more than 10,000 of them. Although these cultivators all had extraordinary Dao weapons, they did not have a high status in their previous forces after all. They had never seen such high-quality Dao weapons. Their eyes flashed with vigor. Then, Bai Ling took out 10,000 divine essence pills, countless king-grade immortal essence pills, and the peak of the supreme grade yin-yang immortal sky pills. Many cultivators' eyes lit up. Some of them even kept swallowing their saliva. Bai Ling took out more spiritual items, immortal stones, and other resources. There were also countless jade slips containing cultivation methods and divine powers. They were like an ocean floating around Bai Ling. Boom. 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 Bai Ling took out 100 ancient spirit veins in one breath and inserted them into the mountain peaks below. Many cultivators were shocked once again. They were all dumbfounded. Come over here and call me Sister Bai. Each of you will be given a Dao weapon, a number of pills, spiritual items, and other resources. Then you will build your own Taoist field and cave abode on the mountain. You will start according to your cultivation level, Bai Ling said proudly. Sister Bai, a mid-stage Dao realm immortal venerable reacted the fastest. He came to Su Fang's side and cupped his fists respectfully at Bai Ling. This person came from the Tianming Hao Tsang sect. He was imprisoned in the sect because he had committed a serious crime. He did not have much lifespan left. When he was sent out by the sect, he thought he would die. He did not expect to be able to obtain such amazing cultivation resources after becoming Su Fang's disciple. With the help of these resources, he had a high chance of breaking through his current cultivation level. After advancing to the high-level Dao realm, his lifespan would increase by 30 million years. At this moment, let alone calling Bai Ling Sister Bai, even if he was asked to call her Grandma Bai, he was willing to do so. Good boy, you can choose whatever you want. Bai Ling was overjoyed to be called that by a mid-stage Dao realm immortal venerable. She agreed without hesitation. Her face was brighter than a flower. Following that, the other experts stepped forward one after another. Amidst the greetings of Sister Bai, Bai Ling couldn't stop smiling. Su Fang saw this scene through the power of the True Dragon realm's Dharma treasure. He could not help but laugh. Bai Ling was also rarely happy. He let her do whatever she wanted and did not pay attention to anything. In the valley, Mu Xingfeng said politely, Brother Su, There is not much time left before the final battle between the immortals and demons. We have to take a detour as soon as possible and hide behind the demons' camp. Su Fong smiled faintly. Brother Mu, don't worry. We don't have to take a detour. Mu Xingfeng was stunned. We don't have to take a detour. Su Fong said, next, we will directly enter the demons' camp. There's no need to take a detour. Mu Xingfeng was shocked. He looked at Su Fong in shock. =our download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 16:26. Don't be impatient, Brother Mu. You'll understand after a while. Su Fong smiled mysteriously and sat down cross-legged in the valley. Mu Xingfeng was puzzled, but he had no choice but to wait patiently. About the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, a figure appeared in the sky above the primordial era. He then landed in the valley and cupped his fists at Su Fong and Starting Peak. Grand Elder Yin Shu of the Grand Star Hall greets Taoist and young Master Mu. This was the Grand Elder of the Grand Star Hall, the one who presided over the temporary branch in the immortal Tao camp. You're from the Grand Star Hall? Mu Xingfeng raised an eyebrow, a hint of contempt in his eyes. Mu Xingfeng was proud and had an extraordinary status. He felt that the Grand Star Hall stank of money and was snobbish and vulgar. Naturally, he looked down on Grand Elder Yun. Su Fong took in Mu Xingfeng's expression and said with a smile, Brother Mu, we're relying on Grand Elder Yun for our trip to the demon camp. Don't neglect him. Mu Xingfeng was surprised. Su Fong explained, here's the thing. The Grand Star Hall has always had secret dealings with the demon race. With Grand Elder Yun's status, he can easily infiltrate the demon camp. Thus, I plan to infiltrate the demon camp through Grand Elder Yun and wait for an opportunity to strike. Mu Xingfeng's eyes flashed sharply. The Grand Star Hall is secretly colluding with the demon race. Brother Su, Grand Elder Yun said, please don't misunderstand, young Master Mu. The Grand Star Hall has indeed had business dealings with the demon race, but we've never done anything that benefits the immortal Tao. Ever since we received Daozi Su Fong's warning, we've been relaying information about the demon race to the immortal Tao. Mu Xingfeng was relieved. He looked at Su Fong and said, Brother Su, you're really planning to infiltrate the demon race? You should know that there are powerful experts in the demon race. If the demon race discovers you, won't you fail on the verge of success? Su Fong smiled faintly. Don't worry, Brother Mu. As long as I can sneak in, I'll be able to conceal myself. Even if the demon god descends, he won't be able to find me. Although Mu Xingfeng was skeptical, he didn't say anything else. Great Elder Yun sighed. Su Fong's Taoist disciple not only has a heaven-defying talent and strength, but his courage and wisdom are even more astonishing. He actually dared to sneak into the demon race's camp right before the immortal and demon race's decisive battle. I can't help but admire him. Su Fong said, I have no choice but to do this. Whether or not it will work is still hard to predict. Su Fong will remember Grand Elder Yun's kindness in bringing me to the demon camp and will repay you in the future. The entire immortal Tao will never forget the great contribution that Grand Star Hall has made this time. Then I'll thank Taoist Su Fong in advance. Great Elder Yun was very happy to receive a promise from Su Fong. Su Fong said to Mu Xingfeng, Brother Mu, I'll have to trouble you for now. Go into my Tao treasure world and hide. I'll leave everything to you. Mu Xingfeng nodded. He allowed Su Fong to release a magic treasure's divine aura and draw him into the Tao treasure world. Su Fong didn't want to expose his overall strength in front of Mu Xingfeng, so he didn't put him into the true dragon realm. Instead, he put him into the void dust cauldron. Thank you for your trouble, Grand Elder Yin. Su Fong flew into the true dragon realm. Then, the true dragon realm turned into a speck of dust and was absorbed into Great Elder Yun's body. At the same time, Su Fong used the life-shrinking art to conceal the true dragon realm. This way, even if the Lord of the Demon World came, he wouldn't be able to discover the true dragon realm in the depths of Great Elder Yun's body. Moreover, Su Fong could see everything clearly with the help of his divine aura. If there was any danger, He could intervene at any time. Whoosh! Great Elder Yun tore through the air. More than 10 days later, Great Elder Yun arrived at an immortal city on the immortal Tao's long defensive line. Since the Great Star Hall was able to secretly communicate with the Devil Race, they naturally had their own channels to leave the immortal Tao and enter the Devil Race's camp. The guard of this city was a mid-stage, immortal venerable from a major power. He had long been bribed by the Great Star Hall to personally send Great Elder Yun out of the barrier and into the heavenly chasm formed by the natural force that separated Great Elder Yun from the Devil Race. Since Su Fong had killed young Lord Crimsonbright of the Devil Race, the final battle was about to begin. There were no more immortal Tao cultivators and Devil Race experts entering the Sky Ravine. 5 days later, the front line of the Devil Race appeared in their sight. This area was already the area where the scouts of the Devil Race were active. Great Elder Yun was discovered very quickly. Immediately, more than 100 Devil experts surrounded him. There were also Devil scouts who returned to the camp to report. Before the Devil experts could approach him, Great Elder Yun took out a black token. After activating it, it released a ray of devil light that transformed into the face of a ferocious devil god. The Devil experts surrounded Great Elder Yun in the center, but they didn't attack. Who an early-stage Tao realm devil venerable flew over and shouted coldly, "Immortal Tao cultivator, why do you have the devil god token of the Devil Race? You don't have the qualifications to interrogate me. Bring me to see your superior." Great Elder Yun said majestically, "You're just a spy from the immortal Tao. How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? Come with me." The devil venerable sneered disdainfully and released a wave of devil chi that shrouded Great Elder Yun. This wave of devil chi wasn't an attack or a shackle. Instead, it completely blinded Great Elder Yun's senses, making it difficult for him to see and hear what was happening outside. Under the watch of the devil venerable and numerous devil experts, Great Elder Yun slowly flew towards the defensive line and entered the camp of the Devil Race. After a round of interrogation, Great Elder Yun was led by a group of devil experts into the depths of the camp of the Devil Race. Great Elder Yun's senses were blinded by the devil experts. Su Fong was in danger and didn't dare to recklessly display any divine might. Thus, he couldn't see the situation in the Devil Race's camp. After walking for about 3 days, they arrived at the heart of the Devil Race's camp. Only then did Su Fong let Great Elder Yun release the True Dragon Realm from his body. The True Dragon Realm turned into a speck of dust and floated down from the sleeve of Great Elder Yun's Taoist robe. There were many devil experts around, but who would pay attention to such an insignificant speck of dust? A group of patrolling Devil Race soldiers passed by. Just as these soldiers saluted the devil experts, the speck of dust that was the True Dragon Realm floated onto the shoes of a Devil Race soldier. This Devil Race soldier didn't notice and continued patrolling with the True Dragon Realm. As for Great Elder Yun, he was brought to see the devil expert in charge of dealing with the Grand Star Hall. He had already made meticulous arrangements for this trip. He'd specially brought along a large number of resources that the Devil Race urgently needed to trade with the Devil Race. Escaping wasn't difficult for him. In the depths of the Devil Race's camp, it was a simple stone house built with stones. A Devil Race cultivator had just finished his patrol mission and entered the stone house. Suddenly, an ethereal aura enveloped the stone house. The speck of dust on the Devil Race soldier's shoes suddenly floated up and turned into a 7-colored lotus flower. The Devil Race soldier was stunned. His eyes were filled with shock. He immediately reacted and was about to shout loudly. Whoosh! A figure flew out of the lotus flower. At the same time, a divine aura enveloped the Devil Race soldier. It was Su Fong. After coming out of the True Dragon Realm, he immediately released the Yin-Yang world. The divine aura shackled the Devil Race soldier, making him unable to move at all. Su Fong stretched out a finger and lightly tapped the Devil Race soldier's forehead. An incomparably sharp metal elemental power pierced through the Devil Race soldier's head. His brain was minced into paste. After putting the Devil Race soldier's corpse into the true dragon realm, Su Fong activated the heavenly secret life shrinking technique. At the same time, he also activated his great perfection ability to sense everything outside the stone house. Sensing this scene, Su Fong was extremely shocked in his heart. With Su Fong's current great perfection ability, coupled with the heavenly secret life shrinking technique, he could clearly see everything within 100,000 miles, including the aura of the Devil Race experts. The Devil Race camp was enveloped by an incomparably huge barrier. Devil Chi drifted and covered the sky. In the dark and cold space, there was a deathly silence and an evil aura. Stone houses and palaces were endless, standing tall on the ground. There were also palaces floating in the air that were completely different from the immortal Tao buildings. Devil Chi surged and exuded an evil aura. Those living in the stone houses were ordinary Devil Race cultivators. Their numbers were hard to estimate. The experts of the Devil Race lived in those palaces. There were no less than 1,000 Devil Venerables, which made Su Fong's scalp tingle. In the air, in a floating palace, even with Su Fong's sensing ability, he could only sense the faint aura inside. It was clear how powerful the Devil Race experts living inside were. In one of the palaces, Su Fong sensed the aura of Devil Venerable Barbaric God. He could not help but be pleasantly surprised. Su Fong noticed that the resurrected cultivator did not live in the depths of the Devil Race camp. Instead, he lived on the right side of the Devil Race camp. Beyond Su Fong's sensing range, he could only vaguely see the death chi condensed into a lead-like cloud in the sky. Naturally, he could not find where the undead monarch was. The number of Devil Race experts had already shocked Su Fong. Located in different positions of the Devil Race camp, there were 13 huge altars that had just been created. This made Su Fong tremble with fear. The 13 black altars each occupied an area of 100 miles and were tens of thousands of feet tall. They extended all the way to the outside of the Devil Race camp's barrier and straight into the sky. It was a strong visual impact. At the top of each of the Devil Race altars stood a black iron pillar. It was covered with mysterious and strange devil runes. Blood constantly surged, and human faces appeared in the blood. Their expressions were either despair, pain, or ferocious roars. They looked extremely strange and made Su Fong's hair stand on end. At the place where the iron pillars were rooted, there was a blood pool. Inside, blood and bones were rolling. Beside the pool, Devil Race soldiers were cutting the throats of immortal Tao cultivators like slaughtering chickens. They allowed the blood to flow into the blood pool. Only when the blood ran dry, the dead immortal Tao cultivators were thrown aside. Such a scene made Su Fong's hatred soar to the sky. However, this was not what shocked Su Fong. The 13 altars formed an incomparably huge formation. It was not for attack or defense, but for communication and communication. The 13 evil iron pillars had a mysterious and evil power. There is a faint connection with the end of the great world. Equals _ our download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 16:27. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. On the altar at the center of the demon camp, a young demon cultivator sat cross-legged beside the blood pool. It was Su Fong's old acquaintance, Ming Yen. So that's how it is. These altars are obviously not just for show. It was through him that the Devil Race created these altars and obtained a connection with the 10,000 worlds. Perhaps a passage could be opened, allowing the Devil Race expert from the upper realm to directly descend to the macro world. It could also be that the Devil Race experts from the upper realm used the altars to cross realms to perform supreme devil arts. The latter is more likely. Ming Yin came from the upper realm of the demons. He is not very powerful, but he has mastered some supreme demonic techniques of the upper realm. He is the only one who can establish a connection between the upper realm and the demons of the great world. Su Fong came to a realization and was shocked. Due to the changes in heaven and earth, the space in the destiny platform that connected the heavenly fate Haotsong sect and the Seal Heaven Divine Path had been destroyed. The heavenly fate Haotsong sect could no longer receive the support of the upper realm. Not only did the demons join forces to revive their powerful cultivators, but they also received the support of the demons from the upper realm. The immortal Tao world, which was already on the decline, was in even more danger now. There was almost no hope of victory. The best way is to destroy the altars or kill Ming Yan before the final war between the immortals and demons erupts. But since these altars are so important, how could the demons not send a large number of troops to guard them? I will be discovered before I even get close to the altars. What should I do? Now that the demons had such terrifying means, Su Fong could not think of any good ideas. He even felt despair. Huff, Su Fong let out a long breath and forced himself to calm down. First, I need to establish contact with Demon Venerable Barbaric God and find out the true purpose of the altars. Then, I need to figure out the overall strength of the demons and their battle plans. Only then can I make a decision. After settling down for a while, Su Fong made up his mind and released the Wooling Goblin. Previously, when the Vermilion Emperor and other big goblin experts were sent back to the Square Heaven Great World, Su Fong did not allow the Wooling Goblin to follow along. In terms of true strength, Wooling Goblin was not as powerful as Zhu Huang, Tong Tian Monster Venerable, and other big goblins. He was most proficient in Earth-type abilities. If he stayed by Su Fong's side, he would be more useful. Wooling Goblin transformed into its true form and swallowed Su Fong into its stomach. It then transformed into a stone belt and rushed out of the stone house. It moved quickly through the broken rocks on the ground and crawled towards the palace where Demon Venerable Barbaric God lived. At the same time, Su Fong released his Earth-origin godly aura and the Tianji life shrinking technique to conceal his aura. In addition, the Wooling Goblin was very careful. Except for the top experts of the demon race who deliberately sensed the Wooling Goblin, the other experts of the demon race could not sense the existence of the Wooling Goblin at all. Those top experts of the demon race would never have thought that an immortal cultivator would be so daring as to sneak into the depths of the demon race's camp. It was even more impossible for him to constantly pay attention to the situation inside the demon race's camp. 5 days later, Wooling Goblin smoothly arrived at the palace where Demon Venerable Barbaric God lived. It hid among the broken rocks beside a stone house. Su Fong transmitted his primordial spirit to Demon Venerable Barbaric God. Barbaric God. After a moment of silence, Demon Venerable Barbaric God's primordial spirit voice resounded in his mind. Master, where are you? How can you transmit your primordial spirit voice to me? Su Fong heaved a sigh of relief. He was worried that Demon Venerable Barbaric God had broken free from his control like last time. Actually, Su Fong did not have anything to worry about. His second primordial spirit used Night Demon's method to control Demon Venerable Barbaric God's consciousness. Due to the changes in heaven and earth, Demon Venerable Barbaric God had awakened from his dormant state. At the same time, his second primordial spirit's control loosened, causing Demon Venerable Barbaric God to lose control. And Su Fong's method of regaining control over Demon Venerable Barbaric God was a new ability obtained from the Heaven's Secret Life shrinking technique. No matter how powerful Night Demon's primordial spirit was, how could it compare to the Heaven's Secret Life shrinking technique? Although Demon Venerable Barbaric God was an ancient peak expert of the demon race and was extremely powerful, he could not break free from the control of the Heaven's Secret Life shrinking technique. I'm right below you. Bring me into your palace. Su Fong said majestically. Master has actually come to the demon camp? Although Demon Venerable Barbaric God was controlled by Su Fong, he did not lose his intelligence. When he heard Su Fong's primordial spirit voice, he was instantly shocked. A moment later, a short demon expert flew out from the palace in the sky and landed on the ground. It was Demon Venerable Barbaric God. There were countless devils stationed on the ground. They were all cultivators from the Man clan, one of the 12 major devil clans. As for Devil Supremacy Barbaric God, he was the ancestral devil of the Man clan. Although he had not regained his peak strength after his awakening, his position in the Man clan was still supreme. Demon Venerable Barbaric God's appearance immediately caused a commotion in the entire clan. The upper echelons of the Man clan came to greet him. The war is imminent. I have specially come to check on the clan's preparations. I will take a look alone. There is no need for you to accompany me. Demon Venerable Barbaric God waved his hand and said. Demon Venerable Barbaric God had awakened with the help of the changes in the world. Under the influence of the power of Xie, his thoughts and consciousness became violent and evil. He had a violent personality. After he woke up, he had never asked about the matters of the clan. At this moment, he was actually patrolling the clan leader. It was simply unprecedented. Although the upper echelons of the Man clan were puzzled, who would dare to question the ancestor demon? Previously, when Su Fong retreated without a fight, Demon Venerable Barbaric Darkness had asked question. As a result, he was nearly killed by Barbaric God and was still in a heavily injured state. With this as an example, who would dare to speak out of turn? Demon Venerable Barbaric God circled around the ground before slowly flying back to the palace. He did not say a word during the entire process. After returning to the palace, Demon Venerable Barbaric God activated all the barriers and arrays in the palace. Then, he shot out a beam of demonic light from his right palm. A stone belt fell to the ground from the demonic light and quickly turned into a woolen goblin. Following that, Su Fong came out of the woolen goblin's body. Greetings, Master. Demon Venerable Barbaric God knelt on the ground with a look of submission from the bottom of his heart. Looking at Demon Venerable Barbaric God, Su Fong could not help but sigh emotionally. Back then, when Law first mentioned Demon Venerable Barbaric God, this demon was like a god in my heart. Now he is kneeling at my feet, becoming a slave under my control. It's a pity that Law is still in a state of slumber. If he saw this scene, he would definitely be impressed and gratified by my achievements, right? Rise. Su Fongdao waved his hand and said majestically. Then Su Fong asked, Barbaric God, did any resurrected powerhouses contact you before? Resurrected powerhouses? Previously, Venerable Cave Demon and a Peak Demon powerhouse entered the immortal Dao world together in an attempt to kill you, Master. In the end, the Peak Demon powerhouse died, while Venerable Cave Demon escaped alone. Not long ago, a resurrected cultivator broke into the rear of the demon camp and devoured the demons of an immortal world. In the end, he was taken in as a subordinate by Venerable Cave Demon. These two incidents made the upper echelons of the demon race very dissatisfied with the resurrected powerhouses. Both sides are very tense. Apart from the upper echelons who still have contact with each other, the lower echelons of the demon race and the resurrected powerhouses are hostile to each other. There are constant conflicts and almost all contact is cut off. Even if the resurrected powerhouses want to contact me, they can't enter the territory of the demon race. Demon Venerable Barbaric God slowly explained. I see. Su Fong inwardly speculated that the resurrected cultivator who had devoured an immortal world was most likely the dead lord. However, given how tense the relationship between the demons and the resurrected powerhouses were, Su Fong couldn't be sure. Even if I don't deliberately sow discord, the demons and the resurrected powerhouses will erupt into a war sooner or later. What I need to do is to seize the opportunity to light a fire at the critical moment. Su Fong smiled savagely, viciousness seeping out of his deep eyes. Su Fong continued to ask, Barbaric God, were the 13 altars built by the demons for? Demon Venerable Barbaric God's answer wasn't too different from Su Fong's previous guess. Ming Yin, the holy son of the demon race, was actually an emissary sent by the demons of the myriad worlds to the great world. Due to the many restrictions and the large amount of resources required to travel from the god realm to the great world, Ming Yin wasn't very strong when he arrived. However, Ming Yan's use wasn't his own strength, but to communicate with the demons of the myriad worlds. The altars were built through Ming Yan to communicate with the demons of the myriad worlds, allowing the demons of the upper realm to use their supreme demonic arts to descend to the great world. This allowed Ming Yin to possess a portion of the strength of the demons of the God realm for a short period of time. As for how strong he would be, even demon venerable barbaric God wasn't sure. However, one thing was certain. Ming Yin, who possessed the strength of the demons of the myriad worlds, was no weaker than the supreme demigods of the great world. After confirming this, Su Fang's heart abruptly sank. Su Fang continued to ask, how was the overall strength of the demons? How are they deployed for this war? Demon venerable barbaric gods answer allowed Su Fang to heave a sigh of relief. The total number of demons and resurrected powerhouses was far less than the immortal cultivators. In terms of Dao realm experts, the demons far outnumbered the immortal cultivators. However, the immortal cultivators had a deep foundation that the demons and resurrected cultivators didn't have. Even if they couldn't defeat the demons, they wouldn't be crushed by them. As for the supreme demigods at the peak of the Dao realm, according to demon venerable barbaric god's knowledge, the master of the demon realm had broken through the peak of the Dao realm not long ago and was one step into the God realm. On the other hand, the resurrected powerhouses had two supreme demigods at the peak of the Dao realm. In terms of demigods, the immortal cultivators weren't any weaker than the demons. However, this was only what he saw on the surface. The demons definitely had other hidden powerhouses or methods that even demon venerable barbaric god didn't know about. It was far more than what he saw on the surface. Since demon venerable barbaric god had never asked about the higher-ups of the demons after awakening, he wasn't very clear about the demons' deployment for this war. Demon venerable barbaric god said, "In another 10 days, the higher-ups of the demons, the patriarchs of the 12 great clans, and the resurrected powerhouses will convene a meeting to discuss the war. I will also participate at that time. At that time, Master will naturally be able to obtain the detailed deployment of the demons. How can you catch a tiger cub without entering the tiger's den? When the time comes, bring me along with you. I want to see the strength of the demons with my own eyes, as well as the detailed deployment of the demons for the final war." Su Fang said decisively. =_ our download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1628. Receiving shocking news again and again, hearing that Su Fang was going to attend the meeting of the top experts of the demon race, demon venerable barbaric god was shocked. He immediately advised, "Master, the Lord of the demon realm will definitely appear, and the top experts of the resurrected experts will also appear. If they discover you, I won't be able to protect you." Su Fang smiled faintly. "It's fine, since I dare to go. I naturally have the confidence to not be discovered." Demon venerable barbaric god couldn't go against Su Fang's will, so he didn't try to dissuade him. Next, Su Fang took out a large number of pills and spiritual items to reward demon venerable barbaric god. After demon venerable barbaric god awakened, he had yet to recover to his peak state, so Su Fang naturally had to help him recover. Yin Yang Immortal Sky Pellet was also very useful to the demon race. At the same time, Su Fang also got demon venerable barbaric god to collect frost soul blood fetuses, planning to use them to cultivate Yellow Springs Blood Sea, hoping to improve greatly before the final battle. Bring me frost soul blood fetuses. As the ancestral devil of the Man clan, it was naturally easy for demon venerable barbaric god to collect some frost soul blood fetuses. There was no need for demon venerable barbarian god to make a move. A majestic voice rang out, and in less than 30 breaths of time, a demon venerable equivalent to a high-level Dao realm expert came to the palace and offered the ice soul blood fetus. Frost soul blood fetuses were leftovers from the cultivation of demon realm experts using planning techniques. Not every demon had them. In the past, Su Fang had killed countless experts of the demon race and obtained many frost soul blood fetuses, which he used to cultivate Yellow Springs Blood Sea. This was also the reason why Yellow Springs Blood Sea could transform so quickly. However, with Yellow Springs Blood Sea cultivated to such a high level, ordinary frost soul blood fetuses were no longer of much use to Su Fang. He needed higher-grade frost soul blood fetuses. Furthermore, they were all leftover frost soul blood fetuses from Tao realm demon venerables. Su Fong didn't care about the cold soul blood fetus of ordinary demon venerables, so he gave them all to Gue Gue. He only kept 5 cold soul blood fetus that were once used by high-level Tao realm demon venerables. Su Fong entered the true dragon realm, and together with Gue Gue, they madly devoured and fused with the frost soul blood fetus, causing the Yellow Springs Blood Sea to transform at an astonishing speed. As for demon venerable barbaric god, he swallowed the pills that Su Fong gave him and recovered to his peak state. The frost soul blood fetus floated up and down in the blood, leaving only the boiling blood behind. The frost soul blood fetus was nowhere to be seen. In the unseen world, many illusory figures formed by devil chi were densely packed. They grinned hideously and wanted to devour Su Fong's primordial spirit. It was impossible to say how many big goblin cultivators and cultivators the devil folk had consumed, but because of that, the frigid soul blood fetus was filled with an evil will. Of course, Su Fong was not afraid of being affected by these evil thoughts, but he had a clearer understanding and feeling of the evil nature of the demon race. On the 3rd day, the blood suddenly churned, and a physical body of Su Fong was condensed from the center. There's movement in young Master Chi Ming's storage ring. Su Fong took out a storage ring that looked like a bone. It was the item that belonged to the demon race's young Master Chi Ming. He released a thought into young Master Chi Ming's storage ring and went deep into it. Only 6 of the 12 Rakshasa, godly demon talismans, were left. The other 6 had already shattered and turned into bloodlight, being absorbed and devoured by the other 6 talismans. The 6 Rakshasa, godly demon talismans wriggled continuously, like a monster that was continuously devouring blood. It looked extremely strange and terrifying. After a while, the 6 Rakshasa, godly demon talismans stopped devouring. Their sizes did not change, but the aura inside became even more profound. Su Fong could easily sense that the Rakshasa, godly demon talisman in his second primordial spirit was still intact. He immediately heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, Su Fong was filled with anticipation. If his second primordial spirit really became a demon god's war slave and became the pinnacle existence of the devil folk, what kind of surprise would that be? 10 days later, demon venerable barbarian god left the palace and flew towards the most central region of the devil folk camp. He arrived at the palace that was shrouded in layers of devilish chi. He passed through the array formation and entered the majestic palace that was filled with dense devilish chi. Su Fong, who was hiding in the depths of demon venerable barbarian god's body, used the Tianji life shrinking technique to conceal his aura. In addition to demon venerable barbarian god's divine might, even a demigod expert would find it hard to sense his existence. Su Fong borrowed the divine might and saw everything that was happening outside clearly through demon venerable barbarian god's eyes. It was as if he was personally participating in a secret meeting of the devil folk's strongest experts. The palace was gloomy. The surrounding walls were burning with blood-red flames, causing the entire palace to look even more eerie and strange. Dozens of stone chairs were placed on both sides of the palace. Many devil folk and resurrected experts had already taken their seats. They each occupied one side and were clearly divided. Both sides had obvious hostility. There were 3 empty seats on the main seats. They were obviously prepared for the lord of the devil folk and the other 2 demigods. Demon venerable barbarian god was an ancient pinnacle expert of the devil folk. He was famous for his fighting prowess. Although he had yet to fully recover his strength, it did not affect his position in the devil folk. He was arranged to be the 2nd seat on the devil folk side. He was placed much higher than Demon Venerable Chi Ao, who was the nominal commander of the devil folk army and the uncle of the devil folk's lord. When all the devil folk and resurrected experts had arrived, Su Fong sized up the peerless experts on the devil folk side. He could not help but feel shocked. Among the devil folk and resurrected experts, there were as many as 8 peak Tao realm experts. They had 3 more than the immortal Tao side. One had to know that a single peak Dao realm expert could affect the entire battle situation. The devil folk had 3 more than the immortal Dao side. The situation was unfavorable for the immortal Dao world. Buzz, the resurrected Buddhist cultivator that Su Fong had seen before, was also on the resurrected expert side. The aura on his body caused Su Fong's heavenly secret life shrinking technique to react. The Dao runes of fate finally condensed into the shadow of the undead lord in his divine aperture. The undead lord has successfully infiltrated the resurrected experts. This discovery gave Su Fong a pleasant surprise. The undead lord had infiltrated the upper echelons of the resurrected experts, while the devil folk had demon venerable barbarian god. The plan to instigate internal strife between the two sides was at least partially successful. As long as he grasped the right timing and incited a great battle between the two sides, the immortal Dao would have a chance. Master, be careful. Demon venerable barbarian god suddenly transmitted a thought to Su Fong. Suddenly, the air in the palace seemed to freeze. Even the flickering bloody flames on the surrounding walls paused for an instant. Whoosh! All the devil folk and resurrected experts stood up from their seats. Which of the devil race and the resurrected experts in the hall weren't evil and cruel, but at this moment, all of them were respectful and reverent. Their overflowing evil and ferocious flames had completely vanished. 3 figures walked out from the back of the palace side by side. With the help of demon venerable barbarian god's vision, Su Fong saw the 3 figures. He instantly felt as if his blood had frozen. He hurriedly retracted his perfect vision. At the same time, he increased the power of destiny of the heavenly secret life shrinking technique, afraid that the 3 experts would sense it. Demigod experts. In the center of the 3 figures was a middle-aged devil folk cultivator. On the surface, he did not look much different from an immortal Dao cultivator. There was not even a trace of devilish chi or any other evil aura. It was very empty. Su Fong was not unfamiliar with this person's destiny aura. He was the supreme existence of the devil folk in the great world, the lord of the devil folk. To the left of the lord of the devil folk was a blood demon. He wore a blood-red robe, and his eyes emitted an aura of death. It was as if everything in the world would wither and die when his gaze swept past them. To the right of the lord of the devil folk was an old man who looked like he had just walked out of a tomb. He had the face of a human, but there were 2 dragon horns on his head. His face and skin were covered with a layer of deathly gray scales. His body carried a vast aura of death and dragon chi, and a bone dragon could faintly be seen hovering in the aura. This expert was not a resurrected cultivator, but a resurrected divine beast, divine dragon. Su Fong had seen demigod experts before. The immortal elder of heavenly secret was one of them. However, the immortal elder of heavenly secret gave Su Fong a mysterious and unfathomable feeling. These 3 supreme demigod existences gave Su Fong a feeling of not only great power, but also extreme evil and terror. Buzz, 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 the aura of the Lord of the Devil Folk caused Su Fong's heavenly secret life shrinking technique to activate continuously. Mysterious Dao runes flashed in the depths of his mind and on the walls of his divine aperture. After a series of flashes, they finally condensed into 2 clear figures. One of the figures was the immortal demon monster that resided in the 2nd primordial spirit. The Lord of the Devil Folk had clearly come into contact with the 2nd primordial spirit, and more than once at that, which was why the heavenly secret life shrinking technique was activated. The immortal demon monster phantom formed by the Dao runes of fate was covered in dense demonic chi. Its face was vaguely similar to Su Fong's, but the 2's appearance and temperament were completely different. Even those who were very familiar with Su Fong or the immortal demon monster would find it difficult to connect the 2 together. The other phantom formed by the Dao runes of fate was burning with shocking blood-red light. It was shockingly similar to the Luo that resided in the blood jade within Su Fong's body. This person was none other than Luo's clansman, the deity from the god world. Su Fong's heart was in a frenzy, and it almost jumped out of his chest. The second primordial spirit was a demon god battle slave that the Lord of the Devil Folk had carefully nurtured. The Lord of the Devil Folk had naturally come into contact with him, so Su Fong did not find it strange that he could sense the fate aura of the second primordial spirit from his body. The deity from the god world, who had been searching for blood jades all over the great world, had actually come into contact with the Lord of the Devil Folk. This came as a great surprise and shock to Su Fong. Luo's clansman has already come into contact with the Lord of the Devil Folk. If he's already found a blood jade in the Devil Folk, he'll definitely head to the Heavenly Mandate Hao Tsang sect and take the 2 blood jades from me. What should I do? A deity from a myriad worlds is not someone I can contend against at the moment. When it rains, it pours. The immortal Tao was facing a calamity of destruction, so how could Su Fong not be shocked and worried? =our download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1629. Novels obtaining the demon war plan. The 3 supreme demigod existences took their seats. The Lord of the Demon Realm nodded at the demons and the revived powerhouses. Only then did these powerhouses sit down shakily. Everyone, the Lord of the Demon Realm spoke. After this Lord's discussion with Lord Mingba and Lord Long Yin, we've made the appropriate arrangements for this war. Today, I've summoned you all here to announce the plan. After you go down, quickly prepare to defeat the immortal factions and flatten the immortal Tao world. Uncle Chiao, you announce it. The Lord of the Demon Realm casually threw out a white bone fragment that floated in front of Demon Sovereign Chiao. Although Demon Sovereign Chiao's strength wasn't very high, only equivalent to the high ranks of the Tao realm, he was the uncle of the Lord of the Demon Realm and the most trusted member of the Demon Royal Clan. Naturally, he was in charge of announcing the battle plan. Demon Sovereign Chiao sent a strand of demon energy into the demon bone. Immediately, a beam of demonic light shot out and formed a 3-meter-long picture scroll. The scene displayed was the immortal Tao camp. If one were to stare at the scroll for a moment, one would be able to clearly see the strength of the immortal experts guarding each section of the line of defense, from the extremely long line of defense to the immortal cities, fortresses, as well as the strength of the immortal experts guarding each section of the line of defense. It was as if one was there personally. Demon Sovereign Chiao followed the map and laid down the orders sealed in the demon bone long ago. He delicately divided the missions between the demons and the revived powerhouses. Although the demons were cruel and evil, they were most adept at fighting and large-scale battles. They'd also accumulated a shocking amount of experience from the previous great wars. In this regard, the immortal Tao world, which was like a tray of loose sand, was far inferior. If not for the demons' low reproductive ability and their small population compared to immortal Tao cultivators, the immortal Tao world would have been destroyed many times over. Su Fong, who was hiding inside Demon Sovereign Barbarian God, suppressed the shock in his heart and focused on the picture. He memorized the missions and orders that Demon Sovereign Chiao laid down in his heart. It took Demon Sovereign Chiao an entire day to finish assigning all the missions. Everyone, the missions are very clear. There's no need for me to repeat anything. The Devil Race's laws are strict, so I won't repeat them. Go and prepare. The Devil Realm Lord waved his hand. Senior God of Berserkers, please stay. I have something to say to you. Everyone else, you may leave. The Devil Realm Lord glanced at Demon Venerable Barbarian God and said majestically, although he politely addressed Demon Venerable Barbarian God as senior, there was an irresistible majesty in his tone. Could it be that the Lord of the Demon Realm has noticed something? Su Fong, who was hiding in the depths of Barbarian God Demon Venerable's body, felt a chill in his heart and immediately became on high alert. At this time, he was in the place where the power of the demon race was the most concentrated, and he was surrounded by the top powerhouses of the demon race. If the Lord of the Demon Realm really saw some clues, Su Fong would not be able to escape the fate of being suppressed by the demon race. So how could he be nervous? The other 2 demigod-level resurrected powerhouses walked towards the back of the hall without saying a word. The other devil race experts and resurrected experts also left one after another. Only the devil realm master and devil venerable barbarian god were left in the hall. The devil realm lord broke the silence in the hall. I see that senior god of berserkers seems to be a little absent-minded. May I know what is the matter? Devil venerable barbarian god said indifferently. Nothing. A trace of coldness flashed in the devil realm lord's deep eyes, and he said coldly, "Since senior god of berserkers is unwilling to say, I will not ask anymore. However, there's one thing that I need to ask senior before the final battle between the immortals and demons erupts." "Please ask, devil realm lord." The devil realm lord stared at devil venerable barbarian god and said slowly, "Senior god of berserkers has awakened with the help of the changes in the world. I wonder if you're still the ancestor devil of our man clan, or a resurrected expert." Devil venerable barbarian god was stunned. "What does devil realm lord mean?" The devil realm lord said eerily, "If senior god of berserkers is still the ancestor devil of the man clan, I will still treat you as a senior and entrust you with important tasks. However, if senior god of berserkers is a resurrected devil, after the devil race sweeps through the immortal Tao world, not only senior, but all the resurrected experts in the entire great world will have no place to stay." Devil venerable barbarian god was silent for a moment, then said, "No matter when, I will always be the ancestor devil of the man clan, not a resurrected expert." "That is good." The devil realm lord nodded, flipped his hand, and threw out a white bone ring. "There's a drop of demon god's blood in this storage ring. It can help senior god of berserkers quickly recover to his peak state before the battle." "Demon god's blood?" Devil venerable barbarian god's deep eyes flashed with vigor, and he kept the storage ring. With this drop of demon god's blood, coupled with Su Fong's elixir, not only could he recover to his peak state in the ancient era, he could even break through. After the battle, senior god of berserkers will be in charge of guarding the devil race camp. First, you need to guard the devil sky divine altar, and second, you need to guard against the resurrected experts. If there is a chance, you need to annihilate the resurrected experts in one fell swoop. Devil venerable barbarian god was shocked, and he asked in confusion, "The devil realm lord wants me to guard the devil race camp. Where are you?" "Mingan and Long Yin, the two resurrected demigod experts." The devil realm lord said, "Mingan and Long Yin will head to the Heaven's Mandate Bright Firmament sect to suppress the Heaven's Mandate Bright Firmament sect's Grand Elder. As for me, I will personally deal with the other two demigod experts in the immortal Tao world camp." Devil venerable barbarian god was shocked, and Su Fong was even more shocked. Didn't the devil realm lord make an agreement with the immortal Tao faction that the demigod experts from both sides will not participate in this battle? Moreover, the devil realm lord has just ascended. How can he deal with two demigod experts? The immortal Tao faction also has 3 demigod experts, especially the Heaven's Mandate Bright Firmament sect's Grand Elder. He broke through to the peak of the Tao realm 50 million years ago, and his strength is unfathomable. I don't have full confidence, which is why I made this agreement with the immortal Tao faction. Now that I have absolute confidence in flattening the immortal Tao faction and resurrecting the powerhouses, why would I care about an agreement? As for where my confidence comes from, you will know after the battle. There's no need to ask. The devil realm lord smiled confidently, then got up and left in embarrassment. Devil venerable barbarian god pondered for a moment, then hurriedly left the hall. I didn't expect to get such shocking inside information. If the immortal Tao faction doesn't take precautions, the consequences will be unimaginable. Fortunately, I infiltrated the devil race camp, and I have a powerful spy like devil venerable barbarian god. Su Fong was shocked by the devil realm lord's plan, but at the same time, he was also glad. After sorting out the plans of the demon race and the master of the demon realm, Su Fong sealed his consciousness in a jade slip. Then, he arranged for demon venerable barbaric god to contact the merchant guild members of Grand Star Hall in the demon race's camp and send the jade slip to the immortal Tao's camp at all costs. This is a matter of great importance. The Heaven's Mandate Bright Firmament Sect Lord is not trustworthy. After thinking for a moment, Su Fong made another jade slip. Of the two jade slips, one was for the Heaven's Mandate Bright Firmament Sect Lord, and the other was for Immortal Elder Destiny. Su Fong was still worried about the Heaven's Mandate Bright Firmament Sect Lord. In one of the two jade slips, Su Fong used the fate aura of the Heaven's Mandate Bright Firmament Sect Lord as the source, and used the fate shrinking art to create a nascent spirit restriction. As for the other jade slip, it was for Starhorder Peak to strengthen the seal with the fate Tao. In this way, apart from the Heaven's Mandate Bright Firmament Sect Lord and Immortal Elder Destiny, the jade slip would automatically self-destruct if anyone tried to force their way through the restriction. The Grand Star Hall lived up to its name as the #1 merchant guild in the Great World. Not only did it have influence among the Immortal Tao factions, it also had influence among the Devil race. Fortunately, Grand Elder Yin had left Su Fong a secret contact location and method in the Devil race camp in case of an emergency. After Devil Venerable Barbarian God handed the two jade slips to the liaison, they were quickly sent to the Immortal Tao faction through the Merchant Guild's secret channel. As soon as Grand Elder Yin received the jade slip, he immediately went to meet the Heaven's Mandate Bright Firmament Sect Lord. With his status, it was naturally difficult for him to meet the Heaven's Mandate Bright Firmament Sect Lord, so he could only present the jade slip. For the sake of merit, Su Fong actually made up such a bizarre lie to deceive this seat. What a joke. After the sect lord received the jade slip and deciphered the intent left behind by Su Fong, he couldn't help but laugh. Who does he think he is? He actually lied about entering the Devil race camp and even managed to find out about the Devil race's secret plan. Even the Grand Elder couldn't do it, so how could a mere initial stage Tao realm cultivator like him do it? The Lord of the Devil realm wants to fight against two immortal Tao peerless existences by himself? How preposterous! There's no need to rush. Just the vast expanse heaven array that defends the immortal Tao faction is something that even the Supreme Grand Elder couldn't break through even after 3 years of continuous attacks. The Demon Realm Lord has only just broken through to the peak of the Tao realm. He can't even break through the array, let alone 2 demigod experts. Su Fong must be a coward who wants to avoid the mission of ambushing the Devil race. That's why he made up such a flawed lie to deceive this seat. He really deserves to die. After the battle, regardless of whether he lives or dies, this seat won't let him off easily. The Heaven's Mandate Bright Firmament Sect Lord snorted. A ray of divine light shot out from his eyes, and the jade slip shattered into pieces. Suddenly, a faintly discernible voice came from a void. Su Fong risked his life to obtain this top-secret information, but you actually ignored it. Heaven's Mandate Bright Firmament Sect Lord, you really disappoint this old man. Then, a primordial spirit shadow quickly condensed. It was Immortal Old Man Tianji. Senior Old Man Tianji, why do you say that? Could it be that Senior Old Man Tianji took such absurd information seriously? Although the Heaven's Mandate Bright Firmament Sect Lord maintained a respectful attitude in front of Immortal Old Man Tianji, he didn't lose his dignity as the leader of the Immortal Tao's #1 faction. Immortal Old Man Tianji's primordial spirit shadow snorted coldly. You can't do it, or even think of it, but that doesn't mean Su Fong can't do it. This old man believes in this boy, and their star-hurting peak as proof. The information in the jade slip is absolutely true. If you don't believe it, the Immortal Tao will be completely destroyed because of your stupidity. =_ download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1630. Luminous Meru Formation, Senior Tianji. This matter. The sect master of Heavenly Fate Luminous Sect was halfway through his sentence. Whether you believe it or not, immediately follow the information in the jade slip and make a detailed deployment against the demon race's plan. This old man will contact that old fart in your sect. If you dare to disobey, This old man will ask that old fart to immediately remove you from the position of sect master and revoke your authority to command this great immortal demon war. If that old fart doesn't listen to this old man will directly kill you to prevent the immortal Tao world from being destroyed in the hands of an idiot like you. Immortal Elder Tianji rudely interrupted the sect master's words. The usually amiable old man revealed his murderous intent, causing the sect master of heavenly fate luminous sect to tremble. He had no choice but to bite the bullet and say, "This seat will follow Senior Tianji's arrangements." What kind of person was the sect master of heavenly fate luminous sect? Now that he was being scolded so harshly, he had no choice but to pinch his nose and agree. His heart was burning with anger, and he didn't dare to show any dissatisfaction with immortal Elder Tianji. Instead, he shifted his attention to Su Fong, and the resentment in his heart towards Su Fong intensified. Demon Race Camp. About half a year later, Su Fong hid in the true dragon realm, constantly devouring the frost soul blood fetus, various pills, spiritual items, and other resources. The Yellow Spring Blood Sea continued to transform, and the Bloodwater area reached an astonishing 9,000 feet. Not only did it increase in size, but its devouring ability and reincarnation power, as well as the ability to use various divine abilities in the Yellow Spring Blood Sea, and the ability to create blood clones, especially the power of the Yellow Spring Reincarnation Sword, had also skyrocketed to a new height. Su Fong was now only a hair's breadth away from the Yellow Spring Great Emperor, which meant that his Bloodwater area and understanding of the Yellow Spring Reincarnation technique had not reached the Yellow Spring Great Emperor's level. After devouring a large amount of Frost Soul Blood Fetus, Gui's Bloodwater area had also reached 3,000 feet. Due to the poison contained in the Bloodwater, he could now kill high-level Tao realm experts. Su Fong's cultivation realm was also rapidly charging towards the peak of the Tao realm from the initial stage. The 49th meridian was also continuously charging, and he still needed a certain fortuitous encounter before it could be successfully born. How much did he get from young Master Crimson Light? Xian? Neck Phoenix Rolling Dumplings, Tai, Jie Huan, Fong Lumu Guya? Shitty coins? Miao Huainao? Song? What the hell? You but big? Xian Feng was lazy and tired? Rose Fade Cut? Skyward Knocking Wood? Earth Hazel? Take pictures? What? Empty Neon, Robber, Jiao Jun? Sigma Buckakasu Fong's subordinates, especially the 1,000 experts he had just subdued. After receiving Su Fong's Taoist tools and resources, their overall strength had greatly improved in a short period of time. The main reason was that these experts did not have access to such resources in the past. That was why their improvement was so obvious in a short period of time. Of course, they would not be able to improve at such a shocking speed in the future. On this day, boom, an imposing aura soared into the sky from the palace of the barbarian god Devil Clan. This aura was filled with an ancient aura, and it was extremely ruthless and evil. After it was released, it hit the enchantment of the Devil Clan's camp, causing the extremely powerful enchantment to shake violently. The evil aura between heaven and earth vibrated, and the imposing aura spread in all directions. Barbarian god Devil Clan flew out from the palace. His short and small body exuded a terrifying aura that looked down on heaven and earth. The aura on his body was no longer that of a heavenly devil, but a demon god aura that only the Devil Clan of the Myriad Worlds had. The Man Clan below felt an unparalleled pressure, as if they were facing an ancient demon god. They all knelt down and bowed. The Devil Clan experts in the palace far away and the Devil Clan cultivators on the ground were all extremely shocked. With the help of a drop of demon god's blood and a large number of elixirs, barbarian god Devil Clan recovered to the peak of the high-level Tao realm. Moreover, he was more than a little stronger than the ordinary peak Devil Clan experts. In other words, he was not as strong as the peak demigod experts of the greater worlds. The famous barbarian god Devil Clan from the ancient times had returned. With an expert like barbarian god, we have more confidence in sweeping across the immortal Tao world and even solving the problem of resurrecting experts. The Lord of the Devil Realm sensed barbarian god Devil Clan's breakthrough and could not help but smile sinisterly. He was very happy. Barbarian god Devil Clan actually broke through to the peak state before the great battle. This is great. With this, my plan has more confidence in succeeding. Su Fong was also very happy. Barbarian god Devil Clan's breakthrough was no different from having an additional trump card in his hand. The change of heaven and earth was a catastrophe to the immortal Tao world. In this apocalyptic catastrophe, the power of an individual was so insignificant that even a god would not be able to change anything. Su Fong was very clear that even if he had heaven-defying talent, strength, divine abilities, and Tao artifacts, he would not be able to change anything. However, waiting for death was not Su Fong's character. Even if he could not see a trace of hope, he would do his best to fight for that slim chance. Therefore, the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect had assigned him a mission with no chance of survival. Su Fongming knew that the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect wanted to use this opportunity to get rid of him, but he still went to the demon camp to fight for a chance of survival for the immortal Tao. At this moment, after Su Fong's hard work, he could already see the hope of turning the situation around. How could Su Fong not be happy? About a month later, the dull sound of a bugle horn sounded in the Devil Race camp. It rose and fell and converged into one sound. A murderous aura surged into the sky, causing the color of the sky to change. The Devil Race was the first to start the final battle between the immortal Tao world and the Devil Race. From today onwards, the Devil Race will completely wash away the blood feud from the previous great immortal Tao world. There will be no immortal Tao world in the great world, only my Devil Realm. Flatten the immortal Tao world, kill. The Lord of the Devil Realm appeared in the sky above the Devil Race camp. His voice carried supreme majesty and murderous intent, spreading throughout the Devil Race camp. Kill, kill, kill. Roars filled with excitement and evil shook the sky. The next moment, numerous Devil Race and resurrected experts led troops of Devil Race cultivators, resurrected cultivators, Big Goblin, and Devil Race cultivators to form an army. They gathered in the sky like dark clouds, covering the sky. Devil Chi and Death Chi converged to form a vast ocean that almost covered the entire sky. The Devil Race army charged out majestically. According to their previous plan, they surged towards the immortal Tao world's long battle line, like a tsunami. They wanted to engulf the immortal Tao world's defensive line and then destroy the immortal Tao world in one fell swoop. Just as the Devil Race army was advancing towards the immortal Tao world's defensive line, the undead lord quietly left his resurrected cultivator army and headed towards the depths of the Devil Race camp. Until now, the undead lord had not been able to contact Su Fong. He could only follow Su Fong's orders when he left and infiltrate the depths of the Devil Race camp. He would try to contact Devil Venerable Barbarian God and Demon Venerable Barbarian God. If it really did not work, he would act alone and try to kill Devil Race experts and incite conflict between the Devil Race and the resurrected experts. At the same time, Su Fong also flew out of the True Dragon world. The 13 altars are all guarded by many Devil Race experts. The altars themselves also have powerful defenses. This is nothing. The biggest problem is that once we attack, we will definitely alarm the Lord of the Devil world. At that time, not to mention destroying the altars, even protecting ourselves will be a problem. Let's not bother about the altars for now. First, we have to find a way to incite internal conflict between the Devil Race and the resurrected experts and create chaos. Su Fong released his great perfection ability and Heaven's secret life shrinking technique. He tried his best to sense the movements in the Devil Race camp and patiently waited for an opportunity. Immortal Tao World's camp. Taking advantage of the danger of the heavenly ravine, immortal cities, fortresses created by supreme divine abilities were connected to form a vast and endless defensive line. At this moment, the camp was completely silent. Not a single person could be seen. The vast Immortal Tao World's camp was like an empty city. The Immortal Tao World's upper echelons and experts were gathered at the center of the defensive line. This was the immortal Tao world's main defense and also the area where the Devil Race army had focused their attacks. Whoosh, 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 the chaotic airflow in the heavenly ravine suddenly became even more violent and chaotic. Thousands of lightning-breaking warships traveled through the airflow and stopped more than 100 miles away from the immortal Tao world's camp. The flagship of Chi-Ao, the commander of the Devil Clan's army, was also among them. Then, an army of countless demons and resurrected experts appeared behind the lightning-breaking warships like dark clouds. The immortal Tao world's camp was still silent. The vast boundary contained a mysterious heavenly Tao power that obscured the Devil Race's vision and made it difficult for them to see what was going on inside. The immortal Tao world's boundary seems to have become even stronger. Chi-Ao sensed that the immortal Tao world's boundary was different from before. It seemed to have become one with the world and gave him an indescribable feeling of apprehension. A peak Devil Race expert next to Chi-Ao sneered disdainfully. The immortal Tao world's cultivators have long been scared out of their wits. They only dare to hide in the boundary. Humph! No matter how strong a boundary is, it will eventually be breached. Lord Chi-Ao, give the order to attack. Chi-Ao dispelled his doubts and gave the order to attack. Thousands of lightning-breaking warships charged toward the immortal Tao world's defense line with an aura that could shatter everything in its path. Then came the 30 million-strong army of demons and resurrected experts. They surged out like a flood released from a dam. This army wasn't large in number in a battle of this scale, but they were all elites among the Devil Race and resurrected cultivators. The true experts of the Devil Race hadn't moved yet. It wasn't time for them to make a move yet. Boom, boom, boom. The lightning-breaking warships charged into the boundary effortlessly, followed by the Devil Race army. A layer of mist appeared on the boundary, swallowing the thousands of lightning-breaking warships and the 30 million-strong army like a giant monster. A deathly silence. Chi-Ao and the other higher-ups of the Devil Race had a bad feeling. About 2 hours later, the mist on the boundary gradually dissipated, revealing layers of corpses of demons and resurrected experts, as well as battered, lightning-breaking warships. That's the luminous Meru formation. Demonic flames ignited in Chi-Ao's eyes. His face was filled with shock and surprise. =our download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1631. A demon spy the luminous Meru formation. It was the heavenly mandate luminous sex signature formation. Once activated, it could draw upon nature and harmonize with the cycle of the heavenly Tao. Not only did it possess incredible defensive capabilities, it could also draw upon the power of the cycle of the heavenly Tao to unleash incredible power. The heavenly Tao was merciless, so just how terrifying was its circulation? The power of the way of the heavens, activated by the formation, was like a huge millstone. Experts at the peak of the advanced Tao realm would be crushed like beans when they enter the formation. Only a demigod, like the Lord of the Demon World, would be able to barely hold his own. However, if a demigod of the immortal Tao were to make use of the formation's divine might, then the Lord of the Demon World would be heavily injured even if he didn't perish. However, the luminous Meru formation had many restrictions. First, a demigod had to sit at the eye of the formation and use their own supreme strength to maintain the formation's operation. In addition, the formation wasn't set up with spirit stones, Tao treasures, or any other materials. Instead, it was set up by 10 million cultivators. Moreover, it had to be set up with the heavenly mandate luminous sex world energy as its core and cultivators at the arcane immortal realm or above. Once the formation was activated, a cultivator would expend a great amount of their true chi, soul, and life force. It would directly affect their cultivation and might even result in death. Thus, activating the formation meant that the heavenly mandate luminous sex 10 million cultivators would lose their cultivation and even their lives. To the heavenly mandate luminous sect, it was no different from harming their vitality. They wouldn't activate it unless the sect was in danger. However, The luminous Meru formation wasn't the only thing that shocked Crimson AO and the other demon sovereigns even more. Before the final battle, the demon race had launched countless feints to confuse the immortal Tao, but the immortal Tao hadn't activated the luminous Meru formation. After all, such a terrifying formation wasn't something that could be set up in a day or two, nor could it be activated in a short period of time. Now that the immortal Tao had activated the formation when they were truly attacking, it could only mean one thing. The immortal Tao had been prepared for this and had anticipated the demon race's attack. Was it a coincidence? Or did the demon race have a spy? Crimson AO and the other demon sovereigns were both shocked and puzzled. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Before they could react, groups of immortal Tao cultivators streamed out of the boundary and swiftly formed a formation in the air, so densely packed that the demon sovereigns felt their scalps prickle. That wasn't all. The great elder of the heavenly fate Haotsong sect, holy man Han Su, held a scroll in his hand. It exuded an ancient aura and was extremely vast. It seemed to seal a part of the starry sky, and no storage magic treasure could store it. Demon sovereigns of the immortal Tao and the immortal Tao, immortal Tao, immortal Tao, and immortal Tao. The immortal Tao. There was also a peak Tao realm expert who wielded a magical treasure that looked like a horsetail whisk. Shockingly, it was a god item, and not an ordinary one at that. It seemed capable of wiping out all living things in heaven and earth with a single flick. There were also more than 100 cultivators at the peak of the 9th Tao, Saint Immortal Realm. They were carrying a wooden statue that was over 300 meters tall. The statue was of an old man with a transcendent aura. His appearance and charm were lifelike. His lifeless body contained a terrifying energy that even peak Tao realm experts would tremble in fear. Not good. The immortal Tao isn't preparing to defend, but to counterattack. Seeing that the immortal Tao forces had unleashed their strongest attacks right from the start instead of the expected defense, Demon Supremacy Chi AO was shocked. He hurriedly gave the order to retreat. However, it was too late. Kill. Countless cultivators unleashed their auras and activated their Tao artifacts, converging into a torrent of energy that surged out in a mighty manner. Without waiting for the first round of attacks to subside, Holy Man Han Su unfurled the painting scroll, and in the painting, there was a boundless galaxy with resplendent starlight, following which stars surged out one after another, forming a huge white tiger celestial elephant. It was like a divine beast from the god world, bringing with it a terrifying aura that reached the limits of the great world as it charged towards the demon army. The peak Tao realm expert with the horsetail whisk formed many seals and activated the horsetail whisk. A comet-like light swept out, and even the peak Tao realm expert had to avoid it. On the other side, hundreds of cultivators at the peak of the 9th Tao Saint stage suddenly spat out blood from their mouths and landed on the wooden sculpture. Their blood quickly seeped into the wooden sculpture. In an instant, the wooden sculpture seemed to come alive and transformed into an old man whose aura had reached the level of a demigod. He took a step forward and disappeared into the void. When he reappeared, he was already in the midst of the demon army and engaged in a bloody massacre. Then the immortal Tao cultivators attacked together. Caught off guard, the demon army suffered heavy casualties under the ferocious attacks of the immortal Tao forces. Demon Supremacy Chi AO was gravely injured. A peak Tao realm demon supremacy had fallen. Countless demon cultivators were killed, their corpses floating in the air like locusts. At the same time, almost the same scene was playing out in the demon army's attack on the immortal Tao's front line. The final battle of the immortal Tao forces wasn't just aimed at the defensive line where the immortal Tao's higher-ups were gathered. Instead, they had carefully selected a dozen or so points of attack. Some of these points of attack were where the immortal Tao forces' defenses were the weakest, while others were completely unexpected. Although there were many immortal Tao cultivators, the battle line was too long and couldn't cover every area. As long as one point of attack was breached, the immortal Tao's defense line would be torn apart. But at this moment, every point of attack was a devastating blow to the immortal Tao forces. The immortal Tao forces had distributed all their forces to these points of attack, using their most ferocious attacks to deal heavy blows to the immortal Tao forces and the resurrected cultivators. Although none of the peak demon venerables died at the other places, they suffered heavy casualties as well. There were even some who were defeated. Seeing this, the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect master's heart relaxed. At the same time, he was incomparably shocked. The immortal Tao battle plan Su Fong obtained is actually accurate. How'd he do it? Did he really sneak into the immortal Tao camp and attend the meeting of the immortal Tao's higher-ups? Intense jealousy flashed in the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect master's deep eyes. That's right, jealousy. Even if Su Fong's surprise attack on the immortal Tao's rear failed, or if he found an excuse not to carry out that certain death mission, as long as he could return alive, this merit alone was enough to win him unparalleled prestige, surpassing that of the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect master. Su Fong, this brat, can't be allowed to return alive. The heavenly mandate Haotsong sect master's eyes exuded traces of coldness. The resurrected powerhouse, what a good scheme. Even this lord fell into your trap. Good, very good, Kiki. In the depths of the immortal Tao camp, the lord of the demon realm, who had been watching the battle from the beginning, laughed sinisterly when he saw the immortal Tao suffer heavy losses. The current situation couldn't be more obvious. The battle plan must have been leaked, and the immortal Tao had made meticulous preparations in advance. It was impossible for anyone among the immortal Tao's higher-ups to betray the immortal Tao and leak the battle plan in advance. Who else could it be but the resurrected powerhouse? As for the reason, it couldn't be simpler. The resurrected powerhouse wanted the immortal Tao and the immortal Tao to fight it out to the death, while the resurrected powerhouse reaped the benefits without doing anything. Although the army of resurrected cultivators, Big Goblin, and immortal Tao suffered heavy casualties as well, not a single peak powerhouse perished. With the upheavals of the world, the number of resurrected powerhouses was innumerable. As long as the peak powerhouses didn't perish, what did these casualties count for? Besides, they were corpses to begin with, so why would they care about death? The Lord of the Demon Realm extended his hand and ignited a ball of demonic flame in his palm. After a flash of demonic light, a figure in blood-red robes condensed from within. It was the resurrected demigod Immortal Tao powerhouse, Immortal Tao. Senior Immortal Tao, the Lord of the Demon Realm, said coldly, "You and Lord Dragon Loathe went to the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect. How did the battle with the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect go?" "Lord of the Demon Realm, I was just about to contact you. Dragon Loathe and I entered the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect's Grand Elder seclusion area, but we didn't expect him to be so cunning. He set up a formation with the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect's core divine artifact and trapped us. We won't be able to escape in the short term." Trapped by a formation? Senior Immortal Tao and Lord Dragon Loathe, take your time breaking the formation. I won't disturb you any further. The Lord of the Demon Realm flipped his hand, and the demonic flame, along with his nascent spirit, vanished without a trace. Fury and bloodthirsty killing intent seeped out of the Lord of the Demon Realm's eyes. A moment of silence. The Lord of the Demon Realm's figure blurred and vanished from the palace. When he reappeared, he was already above the battlefield where immortals and demons were fighting. Just as he was about to attack, his expression suddenly changed, and he shouted coldly at the void, "Heavenly secrets, why are you sneaking around? Do you want to ambush me? Does the Lord of the Demon Realm want to break the previous agreement and take action personally?" Immortal Elder Heavenly Secrets' voice sounded from the void, and his figure emerged. The Lord of the Demon Realm cackled. "Immortals and demons can't coexist in the great world. The war has reached the point where the survival of two races will be decided. How can I just stand by and watch? As for the previous agreement, I have never taken it seriously. Do you immortals really take it seriously? If you want to fight, then let's fight. This old man's old bones will fall sooner or later." If I can have a vigorous battle with the Lord of the Demon Realm, I will die without regrets. Let this old man experience the power of the Demon Realm's divine weapon. Shinanai, Pi Umbrella, Bionai, Pi Phlegm, Bionai. Then immortal elder Heavenly Secrets' voice sounded below. Immortal Tao cultivators, withdraw to the immortal Tao camp. This old man will fight with the Lord of the Demon Realm, so as not to affect you. What a terrifying scene it would be when demigod experts clashed. Any random divine ability could destroy a small immortal world plane. Once immortal Elder Tianji and the Lord of the Devil world started to fight, the immortal cultivators and the devil army below would be in for a great misfortune. Equals _ our download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1632. Novel Chapter 1651. Battle of the gods of the myriad worlds appear. The Lord of the Demon Realm also said, all demons, return to the demon camp. Whoosh, the fighting immortals and demons retreated to their respective camps like the ebbing tide. The ultimate battle between the two great worlds was about to unfold between the immortal and demon camps. Strictly speaking, demigod experts could no longer be considered cultivators of a great world. They had a certain amount of power to leave the great world and enter the myriad worlds. Although these experts were extremely powerful, they had many limitations. They didn't make a move, but once they did, the world will be turned upside down. In this great war between immortals and demons, the demigod experts of both sides would naturally only make a move at the last moment. However, the battle had just begun, and the finale was already on the stage. Moreover, it was under the premise that the demons had suffered heavy losses. Su Fong was deep in the demon camp. Even with his great perfection, he couldn't see what was happening on the battlefield. In order to seize the opportunity, he separated himself from a young immortal and lived in Wooling Goblin's body. Then, the Wooling Goblin turned into a stone belt and quietly came to the front of the demon's battle line. Thus, he could clearly see what was happening on the battlefield. The immortal Tao had unexpectedly dealt a blow to the demons. Su Fong was naturally very excited, but he didn't relax much. The final battle had just begun. The immortal Tao had revealed their trump cards, but the demons had yet to reveal their true strength. Heavenly Secrets. You cultivate the Heavenly Secrets Great Tao and have mastered the Heavenly Secrets Great Tao. Unfortunately, your time is almost up. Instead of hiding and enjoying your remaining years, you want to help the immortal Tao world change its fate. Today, this Lord will let you know that the Heavenly Secrets Great Tao belongs to the demons. Those who defy the heavens must die. The Lord of the Demon Realm's voice was filled with the power to bewitch cultivators. Even peak Tao realm experts will be affected when they heard this voice. Immortal Elder Heavenly Secrets looked at the Lord of the Demon Realm with a smile, as if he had heard a joke. Use your Heavenly Secrets Great Tao with all your might. This Lord will let you die without regrets. A crack suddenly appeared between the Lord of the Demon Realm's eyebrows. An array of dark demonic light shot out. Boom! Immortal Elder Tianji did not use any divine ability to defend himself, nor did he try to dodge. He simply allowed the demonic light to strike him, causing his body to shatter. The Lord of the Demon World was stunned for a moment before he reacted. His eyes were filled with surprise and shock. It's actually an illusion. An illusion released by the great Tao of Heavenly Secrets was able to deceive even me. The great Tao of Heavenly Secrets is indeed unfathomable. At this moment, Immortal Elder Tianji's laughter came from the Immortal Tao faction's barrier. Lord of the Demon Realm, this old man has no interest in playing with you for now. Wait until I'm in a good mood, then I'll play with you. The Lord of the Devil Realm had been played like a monkey. To think that a demigod would use such a trick. Immortal Tao cultivators are all shameless and despicable. Do you think that I can't do anything to you just because you're hiding in the formation? The Lord of the Devil Realm smiled coldly. From the crack between his eyebrows, a shadow of devil light shot out. In an instant, it turned into a giant palm print. It felt like this palm print could even blast a hole in the sky. It fiercely pressed down on the immortal Tao camp's enchantment. Boom! The luminous Sumeru formation merely shook, and a surge of heavenly Tao energy erupted, crushing the palm print into pieces. The luminous Sumeru formation is indeed extraordinary. Demon God overturning the sky seal. The Lord of the Devil realm unleashed devil chi that didn't belong to the great world's demon race. He struck out with his palm print. In an instant, the sky trembled, the earth shattered layer by layer, and the surrounding void collapsed continuously. It was as if heaven and earth were being turned upside down. It wasn't the 9 underworlds' heaven-covering hand, but a higher, level demon god overturning the sky seal. The Lord of the Devil realm was worried about reviving a powerhouse, so he wanted to quickly break through the immortal Tao camp. He activated the power of the demon god and used the top demon art of the myriad world's demon race. Rumble. The palm print violently collided with the power of the formation. In the end, it was worn down layer by the formation. After a dozen breaths, it was completely gone. It was actually safe and sound. Immortal Elder Tian Ji's mocking laughter came. Lord of the Devil realm. The luminous Sumeru formation is the heaven's luminous Sumeru sex peerless formation. Even if this old man attacked with all his might, it would take 3 to 5 years to break through. Gambling on steam buns? What? Pretending to be Fu Ji support for H1? Where is Xian? What? 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 Immortal Elder Tian Ji's intention was to force the Lord of the Devil realm to activate what? What? Ci Gu, Huandiyu, hemorrhoids, and yellow carries? What? 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 Campbell's mischief, mischief, mischief. Are you trying to persuade a loyal fan of Kong Mei? What? 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 Because the Lord of the Devil realm had determined that the reviving powerhouse had secretly revealed the battle plan to the immortal Tao. The Lord of the Devil realm had to be on guard against the reviving powerhouse. Naturally, it was impossible to delay for 3 to 5 years. A mere luminous Sumeru formation, and you want to stop the devil race's advance? Even if you don't activate what? 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 Is it because you are a fool? The next moment, the Lord of the Devil realm looked at the void and suddenly said, Lord Sang-Han, thank you for your trouble. As you wish. A cold voice came from the void, as if it came from the distant horizon. Then, a man in blood-red clothes appeared beside the Lord of the Devil realm, as if he had been there all along. With the help of the Wuling Goblin, Su Fang's heart sank when he saw the man in blood-red clothes. This man in blood-red clothes was none other than the clansman of the Luo clan, who had been searching for the blood jade everywhere in the great world. Su Fang, who was in the depths of the devil race's camp, also saw the man in blood-red clothes through the connection between him and the young immortal. He suddenly felt a chill run down his spine. Su Fang still didn't know what kind of restrictions a god would face in the great world, and what kind of strength he could display, but one thing was very clear. With this god's help, the war between immortals and demons would be one-sided. What was worse was that this man in blood-red clothes knew that the 2 blood jades had fallen into Su Fang's hands. If he found out, how could Su Fang be lucky? Su Fang didn't know how strong a god was, but maybe the man in blood-red clothes could sense Su Fang's destiny aura through a young immortal. He hurriedly ordered the Wuling Goblin to drill into the deepest part of the ground. At the same time, Su Fang also activated the Divine Fate Life shrinking technique, completely concealing his true chi, life, destiny, and all aura. A shadow of the Divine Fate Immortal appeared in the sky above the boundary. He looked at the man in blood-red clothes and exclaimed, God, you are a god from the great world. That's right, I am from the great world. In front of me, you, a demigod with 1 foot in the divine realm, is just an ant, the man in blood-red clothes said coldly. In his eyes, Divine Fate Immortal, a supreme existence of the great world, was like an immortal looking at a mortal. Divine Fate Immortal didn't think that this man in blood-red clothes called Sang-Han was arrogant, but felt that what he said was true. The shadow formed by the supernatural power bowed deeply to Sang Han. Sir from the great world, I see that you are not a demon. Why are you interfering in the great war of the immortals and demons? Sang Han said, a family treasure that is very important to me is in a dangerous place in the demon world. I don't want to waste my strength to enter the dangerous place to get the treasure, so I made a deal with the demons. The demons will find the treasure for me, and I promise to help the demons once. Just this once, I will no longer interfere in the great war of the immortals and demons. Help once, divine fate, immortal's heart calmed down a little, but it was definitely not easy. A god's help, even just once, was hard for the immortals to bear. The master of the demon world said, Sir Sang Han, please help break the great formation of the luminous Sumeru. Soon, the demons will find the treasure you want and give it to you. That's good. Sang Han nodded. Then, he looked at immortal Elder Tianji and said coldly, Cultivator of the immortal Tao, this seat also needs the immortal Tao to do something for this seat. If you can satisfy this seat can also help the immortal Tao once. What helped the immortals? Divine fate, immortal, was surprised. Sir, you can't do that. If you need anything, the demons will do their best to help you. The master of the demon world's expression changed. He didn't expect this god from the great world to want to eat both the immortals and demons. Do I need an ant like you to tell me what to do? Sang Han's eyes flashed with a fierce, bloody light. The master of the demon world felt like he was hit in the chest by a heavy hammer. He staggered, blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. A god from the great world was so terrifying. Just a look was enough to injure the master of the demon world, a demigod master. This was the huge gap between a cultivator from the great world and a god. Divine fate, immortal, seemed to have grasped at a life-saving straw. He asked respectfully, Sir, what do you need the immortals to do for you? It's very simple. Give me an immortals, and I will help the immortals once. My lord, may I ask who this immortal cultivator is? Sang Han said indifferently, Su Fong. Su Fong. When divine fate, immortal, heard this name, the shadow showed a look of disbelief. The master of the demon world was also shocked. He didn't expect the immortals Sang Han was looking for to be Su Fong. Sang Han said majestically, a mere immortals in exchange for a chance for me to help. Such a deal shouldn't be difficult for the immortals, right? Divine fate, immortal, showed a look of hesitation and struggle. Sang Han's deep eyes exuded a trace of coldness. He said coldly, What? Do you think a chance for me to help is not as good as an immortal's? Divine fate, immortal, thought of the time and time again. A god couldn't save the immortals, and the only hope was Su Fong. He no longer hesitated and said slowly, Sir, it's not that I don't want to hand over Su Fong, but Su Fong is not in the immortals camp, nor in the Tianming Haitsong sect. =_ our download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1633. Not in the immortal Tao camp. Shocking blood-red light flashed in Sang Han's eyes as he looked at the celestial path camp. Even a great matrix of vast sky could not block his vision and his sensing ability. The Lord of the Devil Realm did not expect that this deity from the 10,000 realms would actually want to find Su Fong. Moreover, looking at the godly person's appearance, it was obvious that he was not looking for Su Fong to chat and drink tea. The Lord of the Devil World couldn't help but be overjoyed. He laughed sinisterly and said, Su Fong killed this Lord's beloved son and schemed against me, causing the fall of my devil race's powerhouses. How could he not be in the immortal Tao camp at this time? Sang's cold eyes looked at the shadow formed by the immortal elder of Tianji's supernatural power. He said domineeringly, Where did Su Fong go? You should know the consequences of deceiving me. It's best that you consider carefully before you answer. Immortal Elder Tianji replied without hesitation, This one does not dare to deceive, sir. Su Fong is indeed not in the immortal Tao camp, nor is he in Heaven's Mandate Haitsong sect. I'm always in seclusion, so I naturally wouldn't pay attention to an early-stage Tao realm cultivator. As for where Su Fong went, I don't know either. Chi. Sang Han's eyes exuded traces of coldness. He flicked out a beam of sword chi of blood light from his finger, and the virtual image that immortal Elder Tianji had conjured using his superpower shattered in an instant. In the next moment, Sang Han raised his hand, and a mysterious and terrifying blood aura spread out. At that moment, Sang Han gave people the feeling that he was a supreme being who dominated the sky. He could crush any existence in the great world with a single finger. A shocking divine might enveloped the immortal Tao camp, like the might of the heavens. Even with the protection of the great matrix of vast sky, all the immortal Tao cultivators trembled. They felt that under this divine might, they were as insignificant as ants. Wuling Goblin dived into the crevices of the rocks deep underground. Su Fang's Yang Immortal borrowed the Wuling Goblin's Earth-type divine might to sense the scene that was occurring in the immortal Tao camp. However, Su Fang could not change anything. In front of the deity, the power of the great world was simply unable to resist. The only thing he could do was endure. If he went out now, not only would Su Fang be unable to protect himself, the immortal Tao would also be completely cut off. Fortunately, Sang Han promised that he would only act once and would not completely destroy the way of immortals. As long as he could survive this, Su Fang would have a chance to reverse the situation. "My lord, please wait." Mandate Hao Tsang's sect master's voice suddenly came from the immortal Tao camp. Sang Han said indifferently, "Who are you, and what do you want to say to this lord?" Mandate Hao Tsang's sect master hurriedly said, "I am Mandate Hao Tsang's sect master. Mandate Hao Tsang's sect is the power of the heaven-sealing divine path in the great world. I ask that Lord give face to the heaven-sealing divine path and let the immortal Tao camp go this time." Sang Han said disdainfully, "Heaven-sealing divine path? This lord has never heard of it. Since the divine world is known as the myriad worlds, there are countless planes and countless divine worlds. A mere seal, the heaven divine Tao. Not to mention that I don't know, even if I did, what qualifications do they have to make me give them face?" Heaven-sealing divine path was the power behind Mandate Hao Tsang's sect in the deity realm. Moreover, it was not an ordinary power. However, the heaven-sealing divine path was huge, and there were many different powers. It was not something the cultivators of the great world could imagine. Sang Han from the deity realm could not possibly know about heaven-sealing divine path. What's more, the world was changing. It was extremely difficult for the deities of the deity realm to descend to the great world. Why would Sang Han have any fear? Seeing that Sang Han was about to continue attacking, Mandate Hao Tsang's sect master suddenly shouted, "Lord, I know the whereabouts of Su Fang." Immortal Elder Tianji coldly shouted, "Shut up, Senior Tianji. Could it be that you have the heart to watch the immortal Tao camp be destroyed by the hands of deities because of Su Fang? This lord is also thinking for the entire immortal Tao camp." Mandate Hao Tsang's sect master said righteously, "Heavenly Mandate Hao Tsang's sect, I, Su Fang, will definitely uproot you from the greater world one day." Su Fang's Yang Immortal borrowed the might of Wuling Goblin's Earth element. When he heard that Mandate Hao Tsang's sect was actually planning to sell him out in exchange for a moment's peace, he was immediately filled with killing intent. Once Su Fang was exposed, even if the immortal Tao camp could escape the current calamity, it would be difficult for them to escape the attack of the demon race. Mandate Hao Tsang's sect master clearly wanted to borrow the hands of deities to eradicate Su Fang. How was this for the immortal Tao? How could Su Fang not be angry with such a shameless person? Wuling Goblin continued to hide in the depths. Su Fang's Yang Immortal immediately ordered Wuling Goblin to continue crawling into the depths of the earth. At the same time, his main body, which was in the depths of the demon race camp, once again used the Tianji life shrinking technique. Not only did he conceal his own aura, he also concealed Demon Venerable Barbarian God. After such a long time of contact, Demon Venerable Barbarian God's body inevitably had Su Fang's aura. Who knew if Sang Han had some supreme divine ability to detect some clues? As long as there was a slight flaw, it would be fatal to Su Fong. Naturally, he was incomparably careful. Following that, mandate how Tsong's sect master said, as expected, Su Fong is currently in the demon race camp. With Lord Supreme's strength, you can naturally easily capture his aura. Immortal Elder Tianji shouted angrily. You idiot, doing this is equivalent to completely destroying the last hope of the immortal Tao. This old man wishes he could kill you right now. However, Immortal Elder Tianji couldn't do anything to the sect master of Heavenly Mandate, Hao Tsong's sect. If he really killed him now, the immortal Tao forces led by Heavenly Mandate Hao Tsong's sect would instantly collapse. Moreover, deity Sanghan would never allow Immortal Elder Tianji to make a move. Su Fong actually sneaked into the demon race camp. The Lord of the Demon Realm was shocked. His eyes flickered with a demonic light, revealing an incredulous expression. When the Immortal Tao camp and the Demon Race camp heard Mandate Hao Tsong's sect master's words, they immediately burst into an uproar. Sanghan also showed a surprised expression, and then he was half convinced. You should know the consequences of deceiving this seat. Mandate Hao Tsong's sect master solemnly vowed. What I said is absolutely true. The Demon Race's war plan this time was obtained by Su Fong from the Demon Race camp. This allowed the Immortal Tao side to know the Demon Race's attack like the back of their hand. Both the Immortal Tao and the Demon Race camp burst into exclamations again. How is this possible? The Lord of the Demon Realm was even more incredulous. Thinking about it, the Lord of the Demon Realm suddenly realized, even if Su Fong could sneak into the Demon Race camp without being discovered, how could he have obtained the Demon Race's war plan? This junior of the Mandate Hao Tsong's sect clearly wants to cover up for the resurrected powerhouse. Very good. I'll pull this rat out right away. Sanghan smiled coldly. Blood-red light flashed in his eyes, and his perception power instantly enveloped the huge Demon Race camp. With the supreme strength of a deity, not to mention the Demon Race camp, his perception power could easily travel through the galaxy and sense the entire immortal realm. The Lord of the Demon Realm revealed a ferocious expression. You killed this Lord's beloved son and actually dared to sneak under this Lord's nose. Su Fong, you are really bold. In front of a deity, let's see where you can hide. After a dozen breaths of time, Sanghan's expression gradually darkened. A strand of his consciousness had once resided in immortal venerable Xuanlin's body and had close contact with Su Fong at the Tao Disciple competition. He was naturally no stranger to Su Fong's aura. However, at this moment, he couldn't capture any of Su Fong's aura at all. Even the Heavenly Mandate Hao Tsong's sect master wouldn't dare to deceive this seat. Su Fong must have used some kind of divine ability or Tao artifact to avoid this seat's perception. Sanghan pondered for a while and once again activated his perception power. This time, he pushed it to the extreme. In the end, he naturally found nothing. Sanghan shouted coldly, "Aunt, you dare to play with this seat?" The Heavenly Mandate Hao Tsong's sect master was so frightened that he trembled and hurriedly explained, "Lord, what I said is true. Aunt, could it be that you're doubting my strength? Next, this seat will let you know what the wrath of a deity is." Sanghan stepped out in the air and appeared above the immortal Tao camp's array. Then, he raised his foot and stomped down. Boom! At this moment, it gave people the feeling that the heavenly Tao seemed to have stopped operating. The bright sky Meru array lost its connection with the world, and its power instantly decreased greatly. Then, an aura that could break through the sky arrived, and the world shook violently. The luminous Sumeru formation, which could withstand the attacks of a demigod for several years, was now like a piece of paper in front of the might of a god. It shattered layer by layer until it finally collapsed, exposing the immortal Tao camp. And Appen puffed, the immortal Tao demigod powerhouse who used himself as the eye of the array was a crane old man. As the array was broken, he was also affected. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and his aura immediately became extremely weak. His Taoist robe turned into pieces, and cracks appeared on his body. The tens of millions of Heaven's Mandate Bright Sky sect cultivators who maintain the array were all shaken to the point of bleeding from their 7 orifices. More than half of their life force was consumed in an instant. Those with weaker cultivations had their bodies shattered or their life force was exhausted and died. In a moment of desperation, the Heaven's Mandate Bright Sky sect master activated a green pearl, releasing a green divine light that condensed into a light shield to protect his body. This pearl was a defensive divine tool. However, under Sanghan's special care, an unimaginable force swept the Heaven's Mandate Bright Sky sect master away. Although it did not shatter the protective light shield, the huge shock passed through the light shield, causing the Heaven's Mandate Bright Sky sect master's body to be squeezed and impacted by the divine power. His flesh, bones, and meridians were shattered. Although he was lucky to survive, he was also in a state of serious injury. As expected of a slave raised by a force in the heavenly realm, you do have some skills. Since you can defend against this seat's attack, this seat will not bother to attack you again. I will spare your life. Sanghan was also a little surprised and no longer paid attention to the Heaven's Mandate Bright Sky sect master. Then, Sanghan flipped his palm, and a blood-red light appeared from his palm. This blood-red light had a divine might that could conceal one's perception. Even a lord of the demon realm couldn't see through it. Only Sanghan himself could see that there was a primordial spirit shadow in the blood-red light. It was immortal venerable Xianlin. Xianlin is Su Fong in the Heaven's Mandate Bright Sky sect at this moment. Sanghan transmitted his primordial spirit to immortal venerable Xianlin, who is far away in the Heaven's Mandate Bright Sky sect. =_ download address. Reading on mobile phone, bibliography. Chapter 1634. My lord, Su Fong went to the immortal demon battlefield previously and hasn't returned, Venerable Xianlin replied with a trembling voice. What a piece of trash. I listened to your plan and used a piece of blood jade as bait. Not only did I fail to catch the fish, but the fish even swallowed the bait, causing the whereabouts of the 2 pieces of blood jade to be unknown. Sanghan's eyes exuded a cold shout, and a primordial spirit blood light shot out from his eyes. Venerable Xuanlin's primordial spirit shadow trembled in pain. Sanghan actually injured Venerable Xuanlin's primordial spirit with his astonishing primordial spirit divine might from such a distance. Seeing that you still have some value, I'll spare your life for now. Once there's news about Su Fong, contact me. If there's the slightest mistake, what's the use of keeping you? Sanghan snorted coldly. He retracted his palm, and the bloodlight was absorbed into his body. Su Fong, you're just an ant. No matter which corner of the great world you hide in, you won't be able to escape from my hands. Let's not bother about this ant for the time being. Let's go to the ancient immortal demon battlefield first and find the other piece of blood jade. It won't be too late to search for Su Fong's whereabouts. I hope that I can gain something from this trip to the ancient immortal demon battlefield. Sanghan looked at the distant sky. That was where the ancient immortal demon battlefield was located. Then, Sanghan said domineeringly to the lord of the demon world, I have already fulfilled my promise. I hope that after 100 years, I will return from the ancient immortal demon battlefield and see what I want. The lord of the demon world said happily, My lord, don't worry. The demon race will definitely hand over what you want with both hands within 100 years. We won't dare to go back on our words. It's best not to go back on your words. Otherwise, the demon race of the great world will just wait to be destroyed, Sanghan said coldly. Sanghan's body melted into the void and suddenly disappeared without a trace. The lord of the demon world heaved a long sigh of relief, then looked at the immortal Dao camp and smiled sinisterly. Tianji, the bright sky Meru array has been destroyed. What will the immortal Dao world use to stop the demons? Since things have come to this, we can only fight to the death. Immortal Elder Tianji slowly rose into the air from the immortal Dao camp. Fight to the death? At this time, The immortal Tao forces are only qualified to be crushed by the devil race. How can they be qualified to fight the devil race to the death? The Lord of the Devil Realm sneered disdainfully, very pleased with himself. Right at this moment, whoosh whoosh, two silhouettes escaped from the void in a sorry state. They were the two resurrected demigod experts, Ming Gan and Long Yin. Ming Jian's face, which was originally as red as blood, was now as pale as paper. His aura was weak, although the resurrected divine dragon devourer still maintained its human form. Half of its face had caved in, and many parts of its body had peeled off, revealing its white bones. These two unparalleled existences of the great world actually appeared to be heavily injured. The Lord of the Devil Realm was shocked. How did the two of you become like this? The resurrected blood demon Ming Gan said gloomily. Heaven's mandate how Tsang Sek's supreme grand elder was prepared long ago. He used the Sek's divine weapon, the Sword of Destiny, as the eye of the formation to create a peerless sword formation. He lured us into the formation while he ambushed us in the dark. If it weren't for Long Yin and this seat's strength, we would have perished in heaven's mandate, Hao Tsang sect. Long Yin smiled eerily. That old thief isn't doing well either. He won't be able to fight for a while. A trace of doubt flashed through the Lord of the Devil Realm's deep eyes, thinking, could it be that they weren't the ones who revealed the devil race's battle plan to the immortal Tao cultivators? But who else could it be besides them? Could it really be the Su Fong? Impossible. The Lord of the Devil Realm suppressed the doubt in his heart and said in a low voice, Seniors, do you still have the strength to fight? Long Yin grinned, revealing his malevolent fangs. It's just right to use the immortal Tao cultivator's life force to recover our damaged strength. Ming Gan followed. That shameless old thief from heaven's mandate, how Tsang's sect injured this seat. I'm going to use the blood of the immortal Tao cultivators to resolve this seat's hatred. Tianji, the immortal Tao's destruction is right before your eyes. Do you still want to make that meaningless deathbed struggle? From today onwards, there will be no more immortal Tao in the great world. There will only be us demons. The Lord of the Devil Realm laughed loudly, his evil laughter shaking the heavens. Immortal Elder Tianji's face was full of bitterness. At this moment, he used his great Tao of heavenly secrets ability and made countless deductions. However, it was still difficult to deduce a glimmer of hope from the immortal Tao world. Even the wisp of hope that he had deduced from Su Fong in the past had been completely cut off at this moment. Su Fong used the heavenly secret's life, shrinking art to conceal his presence, as if everything about him came from the great world. Although immortal Elder Tianji's great Tao of heavenly secrets ability was astonishing and could pry into heavenly secrets, how could it be more powerful than the heavenly secret's life shrinking art? Naturally, it was difficult to deduce anything. The immortal Tao cultivators below sank into boundless despair, as if doomsday had arrived. The immortal Tao's greatest reliance was the bright sky Sumeru formation. Now, not only was the formation destroyed, a demigod powerhouse was injured, and heaven's mandate how Tsang Sek's supreme grand elder still hadn't appeared. It was most likely, as Long Yin said, his injuries weren't light. The immortal Tao's greatest spiritual pillar, Su Fong, had also disappeared without a trace. Even deities couldn't find a trace of him. What could the current immortal Tao use to contend against the devil race? Looking at the depths of the demon camp, immortal Elder Tianji's eyes flashed with determination, saying in his heart, Su Fong, this old man doesn't believe in heavenly secrets, but I believe in you. The immortal Tao's survival depends on you. Although deity Sang Han couldn't find Su Fong's existence, immortal Elder Tianji determined that Su Fong was still in the demon camp. Although immortal Elder Tianji didn't know what Su Fong's plan was, and couldn't even imagine what heaven-defying methods Su Fong could use to reverse the situation, he was still full of hope for Su Fong. Even if the heavenly Tao wants to destroy the immortal Tao, could it be that we can only wait for the demons to kill us? Don't forget Yang Ming. This old man is willing to be the second Yang Ming. Immortal Elder Tianji bellowed angrily towards the people below. Immediately after, an unfathomable aura of heavenly secrets lingered around Immortal Elder Tianji. His complexion rapidly became younger, and his snow-white hair turned grizzled white and then jet black. In a short instant, it was like time had reversed on his body. From a dying old man, he turned into a 30-something-year-old youth. His aura also became faintly discernible, giving people a terrifying feeling of unfathomable heavenly secrets. The current immortal Elder Tianji, compared to the master of the demon realm and the other two resurrected experts, looked much more terrifying. The master of the demon realm's expression changed. Tianji, you actually used a forbidden technique and burned your life force. You're seeking your own death. Immortal Elder Tianji burst into laughter. This old man has been cautious all my life, so I've lived longer than anyone else. Before I die, this old man will also go crazy once and drag a few down with me. The human blood of the immortal cultivators was ignited by Immortal Elder Tianji. Even a demigod expert did not hesitate to die, burning his life force to fight the demons one last time, let alone them. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Holy man Han Su leaped into the air, holding the scroll with both hands. Another peak Dao realm expert with a fly whisk in his hand also arrived. Next was an old man. He was not a living person, but a lifelike wooden sculpture. The aura he exuded was shockingly at the demigod level. Tianji, this old man will also go crazy with you once. A crane-like old man flew over from the sky. It was precisely the immortal Dao half-god powerhouse who had been in charge of the luminous Sumeru Great Formation. When the Great Formation was broken, he was seriously injured, but now he actually ignored his injuries and rushed over to kill. Master of the Demon Realm, you still dare to laugh at the immortal realm? Heavenly secrets, yin and yang. All things return to the void. Immortal Elder Tianji laughed heartily and sent out a seal. Two mysterious Xianguang, one black and one white, flashed out and intertwined, forming a yin-yang diagram. As the two black and white yin-yang fishes flowed and swam, they exploded with a divine aura that contained the great Tao of Tianji, releasing a shocking, attractive force. It was as if everything between heaven and earth, matter, energy, laws, and any spells, as long as it was covered by the yin-yang divine aura, it would be turned into the most primitive state of a universe. Immortal Elder Tianji was even putting his life on the line. How could the master of the demon realm dare to be careless? He used the demon god, overturning the heaven seal of the demon race, and engaged in a shocking battle with Immortal Elder Tianji. Holy man Han Su unfurled the scroll again and unleashed the white tiger celestial phenomenon formed by stars. He teamed up with the peak-level Dao realm cultivator who wielded the Buddha dust divine tool and charged towards the resurrected dragon Yin. On the other hand, Elder Crane teamed up with the wooden sculpture to fight against the resurrected blood demon Mingon. The cultivators of the immortal and demon camps also charged out from their camps, like two torrents colliding in the heavenly ravine, setting off monstrous waves. It seemed like it would be difficult to determine the victor in a short period of time. On the surface, it even seemed like the immortal realm was suppressing the demons. However, the situation was very unfavorable for the immortal realm. Every cultivator of the immortal realm knew that this was just a flash in the pan. The heavenly fate immortal elder was burning his life force, and the crane elder was severely injured. The painting scroll of the heavenly fate immortal elder, as well as the divine item wielded by the peak Dao realm cultivator and the wooden sculpture, could not last long. Every cultivator knew very well what they would face next, but no one retreated. Since they couldn't escape death, why not die with a bang? Influenced by immortal Elder Tianji, everyone abandoned everything. There was only one thought in their minds: fight to the death. Boom, boom, boom. Cultivators fought to the end, using their true chi and physical bodies to perish together with their opponents. The immortal realm cultivators now were even more fearless than the resurrected cultivators and even crazier than the demons. All these scenes were clearly seen by Su Fong through the young, immortal residing in the Woolen Goblin. At this moment, Su Fong's heart was dripping with blood, but there were no tears in his eyes. Whoosh, Su Fong flew out of the palace. He activated his blood transformation true body. His body was surrounded by thick and extremely evil demonic energy. His eyes exuded blood-red light, like a demon cultivator. Demon Venerable Barbarian God also flew out and followed closely behind Su Fong. Just as he was about to attack the area where the resurrected cultivators were and incite an internal conflict between the demons and the resurrected cultivators, Su Fong suddenly sensed the aura of the undead lord, flying towards the area where the demons lived. Undead Monarch, you've finally appeared. Su Fong was both surprised and delighted. =our download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1635. End Appn novel and Appn and AP. Master, you've actually come to the demon race's camp. Dance small speak. Release all the refined corpse puppets from the sky, burying underworld coffin, and attack the demons. Then you return to the resurrected powerhouses and try to provoke a great battle. The more chaotic, the better. Su Fong did not hesitate to transmit his primordial spirit to the undead lord, issuing an order full of killing intent. Yes, master. One by one, refined corpse puppets were released from the sky, burying underworld coffin by the undead lord. There were more than 3 million of them. These refined corpse puppets did not look much different from the resurrected cultivators. They were all covered in death chi, but in fact, they were more than 10 times more powerful than the resurrected cultivators of the same height. After Su Fong killed the Heavenly Slaughter Thunder Emperor, he selected them from the tens of millions of resurrected cultivators in the army, and then carefully refined this refined corpse puppet army. After coming to the central immortal domain, Su Fong had not had a chance to use this force. At this critical moment, it finally came in handy. Resurrected powerhouses. Resurrected powerhouses have entered the demon camp. What do these corpses want to do? Who cares? Kill them all. As soon as the refined corpse puppets appeared, they were immediately discovered by the demon cultivators who stayed in the demon camp and quickly rushed over. Kill. The 3 million refined corpse puppets, in unison, shouted vaguely, but with monstrous, murderous intent. In a neat formation, they burst out with almost the same momentum, majestically killing the demon cultivators. The demon cultivators had been in constant conflict with the resurrected powerhouses before, but they never expected that the resurrected powerhouses would unexpectedly attack the demon camp on a large scale. In a short time, how could the demon cultivators organize an effective resistance? The refined corpse puppet army killed them in a complete mess. It was unknown how many demons died in confusion. Don't pay attention to those demon cultivators. Directly attack the altar. Su Fong ordered the refined corpse puppet army. Until now, the altar had not been activated, but Su Fong was still worried. Furthermore, these altars were extremely important to the devil race. Attacking the altars would only incite the hatred of the devil race towards the resurrected experts. As Su Fong expected, the action of the corpse refining puppets attacking the altar of the devil race immediately attracted countless devil race, who rushed over here. Retreat to the resurrected powerhouses, Su Fong decisively ordered. Then, Su Fong said to Demon Venerable Barbarian God, order the remaining demons to attack the revived expert with all their might. Yes. Following Su Fong's instructions, Demon Venerable Barbarian God's majestic voice resounded in the depths of the demon camp. All demons, listen to my orders. The army of resurrected experts has launched a sneak attack on our demon race. They're trying to destroy the demon god sacrificial altar. Eliminate all resurrected experts at all costs. Demon Venerable Barbarian God was an ancient expert of the devil race. His prestige was extremely high among the devil race. Moreover, he was entrusted with an important task by the Lord of the Devil Realm to oversee the demon camp. In addition, the devil race and the resurrected experts were constantly fighting each other. The hatred of the resurrected experts towards the resurrected experts was not something that happened in a day or two. At this moment, the resurrected experts actually dared to launch a sneak attack on the devil race, destroying the demon god sacrificial altar, which was extremely important to the devil race. This thoroughly ignited the fury of the devil race cultivators. Just as demon venerable barbarian god's voice fell, the remaining demon cultivators in the demon camp, except for the experts guarding the 13 altars, moved out in full force. They converged into a vast ocean and swept towards the area where the resurrected experts resided. At this time, Undead Monarch had already returned to the area where the resurrected experts resided. He shouted loudly, "The devil race is here. The devil race wants to kill all the resurrected experts. Kill the devil race and devour their life force." The vast majority of the resurrected experts only had the instinct to devour life force left. As for demigod experts like Ming Gon and Long Yin, they could only rely on their evil thoughts to control these resurrected experts. At this time, the peak experts of the resurrected experts had all gone to the front lines of the great war of immortals and demons. The resurrected experts left in the demon camp were like a group of dragons without dragons. Bewitched by Undead Monarch's words, the resurrected experts' instincts were aroused. Not only did they not feel fear towards the arrival of the Devil Race army, they roared crazily and charged towards the Devil Race army. A great war that was not inferior to the one at the front lines unfolded in the depths of the demon camp. Then it spread to the entire demon camp, becoming a burning force. In this way, the great war between the Devil Race and the resurrected experts was ignited by Su Fong. The situation that was originally impossible to change was forcibly changed by Su Fong. However, Su Fong was not without losses. Of the 3 million refined corpse puppets, less than 1/10 of them were taken back by Undead Monarch. The losses could be said to be disastrous. However, compared to the results of the war, these losses were nothing. Provoking the internal strife between the demons and the resurrected experts is just the beginning. Su Fong's eyes flashed with ruthlessness. He urged the Tianji life shrinking technique to conceal his aura. Taking advantage of the chaos in the demon camp, he flew in the direction of the central altar. It turned out that he wanted to wait for an opportunity to destroy the altar of the demons. What's happening in the rear? The Lord of the Demon World, who was fighting with immortal elder Tianji in the sky above the immortal Dao camp, quickly discovered the great war in the rear camp. He could not help but be startled. Facing immortal elder Tianji, who was burning his life force, the Lord of the Demon World was originally in a suppressed situation. At this time, he was not careful and was almost swallowed by immortal elder Tianji's divine might. Immortal elder Tianji also discovered the great war in the demon camp and stopped his confrontation with the Lord of the Demon World. Could it be Su Fong? Immortal elder Tianji quickly understood the cause of this scene. Besides Su Fong, who else could it be? Su Fong, this child is simply heaven-defying. His spirit, courage, and wisdom, no one in the great world can compare to him. This old man's deduction was not wrong. The last hope of the immortal Dao world is indeed on him. Immortal elder Tianji was pleasantly surprised, then incomparably shocked. The Lord of the Demon World separated a part of his primordial spirit and shouted at demon venerable barbarian god. Barbarian god, what happened? Why did the demons and the resurrected experts erupt in such a great war? Demon venerable barbarian god replied, the army of the resurrected experts suddenly launched a sneak attack on the demon camp and almost destroyed the altar. The resurrected experts intend to destroy our demon race in one fell swoop. How is this possible? The Lord of the Demon World could not believe it. Although he concluded that the resurrected experts would make a move against the demons, and he had long planned to annihilate the resurrected experts in one fell swoop, it was definitely not at the most critical moment of the great war between immortals and demons, but after sweeping through the immortal Dao world. The two supreme existences among the resurrected experts were now joining hands with the Lord of the Demon World to deal with the immortal experts. How could they simultaneously wage war against the demons? The Lord of the Demon World asked several demon venerable experts who stayed behind to guard the demon camp. The answers he received were naturally the same as what demon venerable barbarian god said. Could it be that the resurrected experts lost control, or some other reason? The Lord of the Demon World was extremely puzzled. He faintly felt that since the outbreak of the great war between immortals and demons, there seemed to be an invisible big hand controlling everything. The two demigod-level resurrected experts naturally appeared in a great war and quickly got rid of their opponents. Ming Ba angrily roared at the Lord of the Demon World. Lord of the Demon World, what is the meaning of this? The Lord of the Demon World gloomily said, This Lord wants to ask you, what is the meaning of the resurrected experts sneak attacking the demon's rear and attempting to destroy their altars? Long Yin coldly shouted, At this time, it is clearly you demons who are massacring the resurrected experts. Lord of the Demon World, you have a big appetite. You actually want to swallow the immortal experts and the resurrected experts in one gulp. Are you not afraid of bursting your stomach? It's only a matter of time before the three realms become Lord Evil God's property. Infernal Wither said coldly. Immortal Tao, cultivators, demons, and great monsters will never be allowed to live in the great world. Since the demons dared to take the initiative to attack, then let's get rid of the immortals and demons altogether. The Lord of the Demon World disdainfully sneered. I'm afraid the result will disappoint Senior Ming Ba. Shortly after, the Lord of the Demon World sent a voice filled with killing intent to the depths of the demon camp. Ming Yin, it's up to you. Boom, 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 boom. 13 altars located in different locations in the demon camp simultaneously shot demonic light into the sky, converging in the dome of heaven, whistling as they spiraled, forming an enormous maelstrom that covered the entire sky. The maelstrom spun faster and faster, forming a terrifying twisting force. One could see a bottomless passageway leading into the endless void. Waves of mournful cries and angry roars came from the maelstrom, as if countless demons were being released from the maelstrom. A terrifying divine aura shrouded the heavens and the earth, then rapidly contracted, finally landing on Ming Yin on the central altar. Death Blaze's aura suddenly became mysterious, evil, and berserk. What a terrifying divine aura! Su Fong could sense that the power emitted from the maelstrom was not something that the demons of the great world could possess, but rather the power of the demons of the immortal realm. Once Ming Yin had this power, even if he was not as strong as Sang Han, the demigod masters of the immortal realm would not be able to contend against him. However, Su Fong had no intention of stopping Ming Yin for the time being. It was not easy to instigate an internal conflict between the demons and the resurrected immortals. How could he not let them fight to their heart's content? Not good. We must stop Ming Yin. Ming Ba was frightened. He was about to rush to the altar in the center. The Lord of the Demon World coldly shouted, Stay here for me. Apmbror, the dragon devourer, quickly transformed into a 1,000-feet-long corpse dragon, a dense aura of death and the might of a divine dragon covering the entire area. It opened its mouth and let out an evil and earth-shattering roar, causing the immortals and demons below to tremble. The dragon devourer roared out and went straight for the central altar. The Lord of the Demon World was entangled by Ming Ba and could not free himself for a while. He could only watch as the dragon devourer attacked the central altar. Everyone, retreat to the immortal realm camp immediately. Immortal Elder Tianji immediately ordered. Master Crane, Master Han Su, and the others turned and flew back to the immortal realm camp. The immortal realm cultivators in the sky ravine also quickly retreated. The battle in the demons' lair was in full swing. How could the demons on the front lines have the mood to continue fighting the immortal realm cultivators? This was the main point of attack on the immortal realm's defensive line. Other than the demons, there was also an army of resurrected immortals. Immortal Elder Dongming was the leader of the resurrected immortals. Kill all the demons. Immortal Elder Dong Ming smiled evilly and unceremoniously commanded the resurrected immortals to attack the demons. Thus, a new battle broke out in the Sky Ravine. However, the demons' opponents changed from the immortal realm cultivators to the resurrected immortals who were fighting side by side with them just a moment ago. Novels and app equals underscore our download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1636. The resurrected dragon, Scorpion, traveled through the void and appeared at the center of the altar. The lord of the demonic realm saw it from afar and let out a thunderous roar. "Dragon Scorpion, how dare you? Why wouldn't I dare?" Dragon Scorpion roared at the sky. The next moment, boom! Dragon Scorpion's enormous body crashed into the barrier surrounding the center of the altar with a destructive aura. The powerful seal that the Lord of the demonic realm had personally created around the center of the altar shattered under Dragon Scorpion's attack. The ground shook violently as if it had been flipped over. Some of the demonic realm experts guarding the altar and all the demonic realm cultivators within 100 miles of the altar died from the impact. The rest spat out mouthfuls of blood or had their bodies shattered. Even Su Fong, who was more than 300 miles away from the altar, was thrown to the ground by the huge impact. His blood and chi churned in his body. The attack of a resurrected demigod dragon Scorpion was terrifying. However, the altar itself was still intact. It wasn't because the altar was so sturdy that it could withstand a full force attack from a demigod expert. It was because there was a divine aura that came from all over the universe that enveloped Dragon Scorpion and his surroundings. Dragon Scorpion couldn't do anything to them. Dragon Scorpion was surprised and shocked that his attack couldn't destroy the altar. Just as he was about to continue attacking the altar, the swirling vortex in the sky suddenly stopped. The evil and eerie voice also stopped abruptly. The next moment, a terrifying divine aura descended from the depths of the vortex into the great world and landed on Dragon Scorpion, who was sitting cross-legged beside the blood pool. In an instant, Death Blaze's aura skyrocketed from the mid-level of the Tao realm. Soon, it surpassed the limits of the great world and reached the level of a demigod. However, it didn't stop there. It reached the demigod level before it stopped rising. Oh no! The Dragon Devourer let out a gloomy roar and opened its mouth to suck in the air. Death Chi and Evil Chi surged toward him in a mighty manner, causing the evil chi that filled the world to suddenly become thinner. The 5 evil suns in the sky also abruptly darkened. Poof! Streaks of evil energy that were as sharp as blades were brewing in the Dragon Devourer's mouth. They spiraled and whizzed out, quickly turning into 1,000 feet large wind wheel. The surrounding space was torn into pieces like a rag. The giant wind wheel carried with it a vast aura and a monstrous aura of death. It was like the wheel of the death god, capable of crushing everything in its path. An ant dares to offend my dignity? Minion suddenly opened his eyes and revealed a sinister smile. Blood-red flames burned in his eyes. Then, Minion stood up from the edge of the blood pool and struck out with a black palm. Pung! The terrifying wind wheel of death instantly shattered under the divine might of Death Blaze's palm. The strongest attack of a demigod didn't even cause a ripple. A crimson light flashed in Ming Yan's eyes and condensed into a line of fire. Chi! The blood-red light pierced a huge hole in the Dragon Devourer's chest. Moreover, blood-red flames sizzled and burned the Dragon Devourer's death chi and body layer by layer. The Dragon Devourer roared in pain and swung its giant tail. It released a shocking aura and was about to escape. The body of a revived expert was originally a dead body. As long as the consciousness in the divine aperture wasn't destroyed, even if the body was left with only a head, it could continue to live. Although Ming Yan's attack caused great damage to the Dragon Devourer, it wasn't able to kill it. Don't you think it's too late to leave now? Ming Yan smiled domineeringly as he unleashed another earth-shattering palm strike. The demon god overturning the sky print that Ming Yan used was more than 100 times more powerful than the lord of the demonic world. Boom! The Dragon Devourer was like a fly that had been slapped away. Its huge body was sent flying. The scales on its body fell off layer by layer, and most of its bones were shattered. Ming Yin smiled coldly and calmly stepped forward. He seemed to be moving very slowly and calmly, but in reality, he was as fast as lightning. He appeared beside the dragon devourer and spat out a mouthful of blood-red flames. The flames landed on the dragon devourer and burned it. Sizzle, sizzle. The dragon devourer struggled in pain and let out earth-shattering roars. It urged the death chi in an attempt to extinguish the blood-red flames. However, it was all in vain. The flames that Ming Yin spat out weren't the fire force of nature. They were the evil demonic flames that came from the god realm and could devour and incinerate everything. After a few breaths, the dragon devourer's huge body was burned to ashes by the blood-red flames. A demigod expert was a supreme existence in the macro world. There was almost no power in the macro world that could kill him. Ming Yin had killed a resurrected expert of the dragon race so easily. All the demons and resurrected cultivators, including the master of the devil world and Ming Yin, were shocked to the core. Ming Yin was now a demonic god. Although it was impossible to tell who was stronger between him and the deity Sang Han, one thing was for sure. Ming Yin could defeat any expert in the macro world. An aura from the giant whirlpool in the sky lingered around Ming Yin. It wasn't hard to tell that Ming Yin's power came from the demonic gods of the universe. It wasn't his own, so he couldn't hold on for too long. However, with such power, Ming Yin only needed 30 breaths to wipe out the revived demigod Ming Yin and all the top experts on the Immortal Path side. Ming Yin didn't even look at the dragon devourer. He flew toward the Immortal Path's camp. With Ming Yan's current strength, he could reach the Immortal Path's camp in the blink of an eye. However, his power came from the demonic world through the altar. His power came from the demonic gods of the universe. So his ability to travel through space was greatly affected. He could only fly. Although it wasn't as fast as traveling through the void, it was still as fast as lightning. Ming Yin, the revived expert of the demonic race, saw how easily the dragon devourer was killed by Ming Yin. When Ming Yin rushed over, he was stopped by the Lord of the demonic world. The Lord of the demonic world laughed maniacally. Ming Yin, the dragon devourer, is dead. Why don't you surrender? I will refine you into a demonic puppet and make you serve the demonic race wholeheartedly. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Ming Yin borrowed the power of the demonic gods of the universe to become so powerful all of a sudden. Su Fong had witnessed the entire process of Ming Yin killing the dragon devourer with his great perfection power. He couldn't help but be shocked. However, Ming Yin's power doesn't come from his own. As long as we destroy the altar, especially the main one in the center, his power will be like water without a source. Thankfully, the dragon devourer destroyed the boundary around the altar. The demonic gods guarding the altar are either dead or injured. Destroying the altar will be a piece of cake. The only thing I need to be careful of is the timing. However, the Lord of the demonic world will seek revenge after the altar is destroyed. That's a demigod, not someone I can contend against at my current level. Su Fong's heart palpitated at the thought. Who wouldn't be afraid in the face of a supreme existence in the greater world? This is the only chance to protect the world of the immortal Tao. Even if I have to pay the price of death, I have to give it my all. His father, Xuanxin, his clansmen Bai Ling, the Green Feather Monarch, Li Haojia, the Lord of Five Poisons, and his other friends flashed through his mind. Su Fong looked at the altar, his eyes flashing with determination. Even if it wasn't for the immortal Tao, for his family and friends, he had to seize this opportunity no matter what. He thought for a while. Su Fong separated a young immortal and entered the true dragon realm. Sister Bai. Su Fong's young immortal appeared in the valley where Bai Ling and Yu Miaomei lived. Brother, what's the situation outside? Bai Ling also knew how dangerous the situation was and couldn't wait to ask Su Fong when he saw him. Su Fong briefly explained what was happening outside, then said decisively, Sister Bai, I will leave you Miaomei and Senior Butterfly Demon in the true dragon realm. I will also leave behind a blood and water clone and take all my other subordinates with me. When Wooling Goblin returns, he will take you away from the demonic Tao camp. If I unfortunately die, you will leave the immortal demon battlefield and try to return to the square heaven great world. Heavenly treasure, brother. Without waiting for you Miao Mei and Bai Ling to finish, Su Fong said decisively, Sister Bai Miao Mei, you don't have to persuade me. I have made up my mind. You don't have to worry about me. Even if my true body dies, I still have a blood and water clone in the true dragon realm and another blood and water clone by Xuanxin's side. Together with my second primordial spirit, I will still survive in the greater world. With that, Su Fong's young immortal left the valley and went to the Dao field where he usually cultivated. Whoosh! The physical body of Su Fong's true body shattered and turned into a blood and water state. Then, the blood and water clones sitting cross-legged in the Dao field all turned into blood and merged into the Yellow Springs Blood Sea. Then, a new blood and water clone condensed from the blood and water. This clone was different from the previous blood and water clones. The blood and water clones that he created in the past were specially used to cultivate various cultivation techniques and divine powers. This clone was exactly the same as the true body and had all kinds of abilities of the true body. However, it did not have a heaven and earth Tao palace or a golden core origin. Its strength was far inferior to the true body. Apart from the abilities of the true body, it was almost no different from a mortal. Su Fong left behind this blood and water clone in case he died and could rely on the clone to survive. However, by then, his cultivation realm and Yang Meridian would all have to be cultivated from scratch. Swoosh! The remaining blood and water condensed into Su Fong's true body and left the Dao field. Then, Su Fong activated the Dharma treasure of the true dragon realm and moved his 100,000 subordinates and 1,000 newly subdued experts into the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. Chapter 1637. End Apn Chapter 1656. Su Fong makes a move and Apn Master. Awesome and AP 25-12-032-0. Demon Venerable Barbarian God pulled himself out of the chaos of the demon camp and shot out a ray of demonic light from his palm. A figure emerged from it. It was the undead monarch that Demon Venerable Barbarian God had absorbed into his body during the chaos. Su Fong said, Undead monarch, you have contributed greatly this time. The undead monarch said respectfully, Undead monarch does not dare to be greedy in serving master. I still need you and Barbarian God to continue working for me. Yes. Su Fong absorbed the undead monarch into his body and activated his blood transformation true body ability. At the same time, he combined it with the demonic scripture to transform into a demon cultivator. He brought Demon Venerable Barbarian God to the main altar in the center. Lord Barbarian God, the demon cultivators guarding the altar suffered heavy casualties from the Dragon Devourer's crazy attack. They were surprised and delighted to see Demon Venerable Barbarian God bring a demon expert to help them. This seat will personally guard the main altar. All of you, remove the altar. Demon Venerable Barbarian God and Su Fong arrived at the top of the altar and chased away all the demon experts on the altar. At this very moment, Ming Yin had already flown to the top of the immortal camp. You were once a supreme expert of the demon race and possessed the bloodline of all the demon gods in the universe. Now, you are willing to be controlled by the evil god and betray the demon god. Die. Hellflame's body was suddenly engulfed in raging crimson flames, making him look like a terrifying fiery demon. Then, Ming Yin parted his hands and a blood-red flame roared out. It was like a flaming monster that swallowed Ming Yin whole. Boom! Mingon's body suddenly collapsed and turned into a shocking blood sea. It was different from Su Fong's Yellow Springs Blood Sea. Mingon's body was made of blood and water. This was his true body state. The blood water Ming Yin turned into did not have the life flames of the Yellow Spring Blood Sea. Instead, it was filled with extremely dense death energy and a deathly aura that could destroy all life. However, the devilish flames that Deathblaze was releasing right now were the power of a demon god from the god realm. Furthermore, it wasn't the kind of sparks that Death Blaze had used before, but rather a prairie fire. It burned fiercely, causing the dried blood and aura of death to evaporate like snow in the presence of the sun. All of a sudden, the 5 blood-red evil suns in the sky suddenly dimmed. Immediately after, an evil and incomparably powerful will swept up the deathly energy and evil energy between the heavens and the earth, and suddenly descended into the dried-up blood water. The devil flame that was still burning crazily a moment ago, under the mighty death chi and evil chi, was on the verge of death in an instant, and then completely extinguished. Clatter, clatter. The blood roiled and surged as it condensed Ming's dried body once more. The surrounding aura of death and baleful aura converged into an ocean, while he floated above the ocean like the incarnation of an evil god. Ming Yan's aura was no longer that of a demigod. It had surpassed that of a demigod and reached the god realm. The feeling he gave off was more than 100 times more terrifying than Ming Yan and Sang Han of Luo's clan. Demon god of the myriad heavens, you dare to kill my spokesperson? Aren't you afraid that I will wipe out all the demons in the realms? Ming Yan's voice was filled with evil and ruthless power. It made the demigod master of the demon realm's primordial spirit restless. An evil thought grew in his heart, and uncontrollably wanted to devour all life forms. Ming Yan's eyes blazed with terrifying blood-red flames. He seemed to be incomparably fearful. However, Ming Yan soon regained his composure and smiled indifferently. You're nothing but a sliver of his will. His true body is still sealed. Furthermore, your will has become extremely weak after breaking the seal and the shackles between the great world and the god realm. You're just bluffing. Why should I be afraid of you? I will break the seal sooner or later and become the supreme being of the 3 realms. If the demons don't want to be wiped out by me, they had better not interfere with my affairs. Ming Yan said, the resurrected expert wants to destroy us demons. Do you think we could do nothing but wait for death? Ming Yan said in a domineering voice, if you submit to me, not only will the great world and all the demons in the realms not be attacked by the resurrected expert, but I will also give you a chance to live when I break free. Since the birth of the universe and the birth of the demon race has never submitted to any other race. It has never done so before, and it will never do so in the future. Ming Yan said decisively with pride in his voice. Ming Yan wasn't the only one who had the right to be proud. Every demon had the right to be proud. From ancient times to the present, it was unknown how many races had disappeared from the long river of history, but the demon race had always stood tall to this day. The demon clan, whether it's in the big world or in the universe, will become history. Mingan laughed evilly. In the next moment, the boundless aura of death and viciousness surged and swept Ming Yan's body into nothingness. The terrifying will that had enveloped heaven and earth, as well as the boundless aura of death and viciousness, vanished without a trace. Ming Yan, what was that just now? The Lord of the Devil World asked. He was a supreme existence of a macro world. At this moment, his eyes were filled with incomparable fear. The terrifying aura just now made him feel as insignificant as an ant. He's not someone the demons of the great world can contend against. In fact, he might even be a demon from a god realm. Don't worry about that. I can't maintain this state for much longer. Let's get rid of the immortal Tao as soon as possible. Only by devouring the entire immortal Tao will the demons have a chance of resisting the resurrected powerhouse. Ming Yan looked down at the immortal Tao world, his killing intent chilling. The only value of immortal Tao cultivators is to become nutrients for the demons, as well as tools for them to reproduce. Kiki, the lord of the demon realm, cackled evilly, like the voice of the god of death before he took the lives of others. Ming Yan spread his hands apart, unleashing a torrent of demonic flames. The fiendish divine might of the flames enveloped heaven and earth, instantly turning the entire world into a world of flames. Even the immortal Tao cultivators and living creatures with life auras were incinerated by the fiendish divine might of the flames. Screams of agony rose and fell from the immortal Tao camp, turning it into hell in an instant. Ming Yin looked down indifferently, the corners of his mouth curling up into a sinister and cruel smile. Whoosh, the wooden sculpture that could release the strength of a demigod, soared through the air from the immortal Tao camp. However, its aura, energy, and the immortal marks on its body were burned layer by layer in the divine might of the evil flames. It was as if it was set ablaze. Before the wooden sculpture could fly more than 100 feet, its body was reduced to ashes and scattered in the air. At the same time, Tao Sovereign Han Su also unfurled his painting. Another peak Tao Realm expert also activated his Buddha Whisk constellation. The White Tiger constellation roared as the Buddha Whisk constellation unleashed a terrifying might capable of annihilating everything. Boom, boom, boom. The dazzling stars that made up the White Tiger constellation burned like meteors in Ming Yan's demonic flames, then exploded. The White Tiger constellation also completely collapsed. The painting in Tao Master Han Su's hand was also reduced to ashes by the demonic flames. The Buddha Dust Divine Artifact's divine aura couldn't even touch the death flame before it was completely suppressed by the death flame's devilish aura. The Heavenly Fate Immortal Elder activated his Heavenly Fate Great Tao, forming a huge black and white yin-yang diagram. It released a terrifying divine might that covered 100,000 miles of space, protecting all the immortal Tao cultivators in the area. As expected of a peerless cultivator of the immortal Tao, you are indeed extraordinary. However, you are just a little extraordinary. In front of me, you are still an ant. Ming Yin laughed disdainfully. Demonic flames erupted from his body, and the divine might of the flames that enveloped heaven and earth suddenly became much stronger. Although the Heavenly Fate Immortal Elder's Heavenly Fate Great Tao was extraordinary, it was still the power of a great world and couldn't resist Ming Yan's demonic flames. The divine might released by the black and white yin-yang diagram was rapidly compressed from 100,000 miles to 1,000 feet, then 100 feet, then 100 feet, then 100 feet, then 100 feet. This person is quite extraordinary. Let me devour him, said Ming Yin calmly. The Lord of the Demonic Realm shouted proudly, Heavenly Fate, you can become Ming Yan's tool for cultivating demonic arts. This is also the best place for you. All of a sudden, a bolt of lightning shot into the sky from the demonic realm's camp. The divine sun and the 5 evil suns in the sky all paled in comparison. The entire world was filled with lightning. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of thunder shook the heavens, and only then did it come from the depths of the demonic realm's camp. The iron pillar at the top of the central altar, as well as the blood pool beneath it, had been completely obliterated. Even a large portion of the top of the altar had collapsed. The huge whirlpool in the sky immediately became chaotic, but it didn't collapse. It was barely holding on, and the demonic might of the demonic gods from all over the universe had been reduced by more than half. The central altar that connects to the divine realm has been destroyed. The Lord of the demonic realm revealed an expression of disbelief. As a supreme being of the demonic realm, he was also deeply shocked and surprised. Ming Yan's body swayed, and his aura and demonic flames suddenly weakened. Like a rubber ball that had been pricked by a needle, he no longer had the demonic aura of a demonic god. Instead, he had fallen to the level of a demigod. The demonic might that had enveloped the immortal Tao's camp was also reduced by more than half. Meanwhile, the immortal elder of heavenly fate's divine might rapidly increased, crushing Ming Yan's divine might layer by layer. After a moment of silence, the immortal Tao's camp erupted in earth-shattering cheers. The heavens have not destroyed the immortal Tao. The immortal Tao is saved. The immortal elder of heavenly fate's tears streamed down his face, but he laughed heartily. Ignoring everything else, he burned his life force and charged at Ming Yan with all his might. Su Fang, it's actually you. The Lord of the demonic realm roared. causing the earth to shake. The destruction of the immortal Tao's camp was imminent, as long as the immortal Tao's experts were wiped out in one fell swoop. The demonic race's conquest of the greater world would be just around the corner. But at this critical moment, someone had stopped him. Once Ming Yin lost the power of the demonic god, it would be impossible for the demonic race to completely destroy the immortal Tao. Realization dawned on the lord of the demonic realm. The demonic race's battle plan had been leaked, and the resurrected expert had suddenly launched a sneak attack on the demonic race. All sorts of inexplicable events had finally been explained. All of this was because of one person, Su Fong. =_ download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1638. The great army of the Apam race besieged Su Fong. It was Su Fong who saved us. What heaven's mandate, how Tsang's sect master said, was true. Su Fong really did infiltrate the demon race's camp. The demon army's battle plan, the resurrected experts, and the sudden infighting of the demon army, it was all Su Fong's doing. Now he destroyed the demon army's altar, causing Ming Yin to lose his demon god power. Su Fong turned the tide. The immortal cultivators fell into a state of intense shock. Wu Little said, all sorts of impossibilities were turned into possibilities by Su Fong. The immortal Tao world's fate of destruction was turned around by Su Fong. Although the immortal Tao world's danger of destruction was not eliminated, they finally saw a glimmer of hope. The immortal Tao cultivators were all in high spirits. One by one, they disregarded everything and joined the immortal Tao camp. Before, they didn't care about their lives because of despair. But now, because of hope, their morale was 10 times stronger than before. I really didn't expect, the demon race's grand plan to unify the great world would be destroyed by a low-level Tao realm cultivator. Su Fong, this lord swears, not only you, your family, your friends, and everyone in this great world will die. No, this lord will make you wish you were dead. The lord of the devil world gnashed his teeth and let out a roar full of anger and resentment toward the depths of the devil race camp. Like the curse of a devil god, the devil's sound whistled, causing the wind and clouds to change color. Before this, Su Fong was still young. Although the lord of the demon world hated Su Fong for killing young Master Crimsonbright and causing the death of a peak demon expert, he didn't treat Su Fong as a real opponent. In the eyes of a demigod like the lord of the devil realm, Su Fong was just a slightly troublesome ant. However, the lord of the devil realm never thought that the situation would be reversed by Su Fong. How could he not be angry? Su Fong, I didn't expect that there would be such an amazing person in the great world, making the demon race's efforts go to waste. If we don't get rid of this brat, it will be difficult for the great world's devil race to gain a foothold. Ming Yin had fallen from being a high and mighty demon god to a mere demigod. One could only imagine how he felt at this moment. All demons, kill Su Fong at all costs. Whoever kills Su Fong will have the opportunity to cleanse their marrow with the blood of the demonic god, and their clan will become the second largest clan, second only to the royal clan. The lord of the demonic realm's murderous voice reverberated between heaven and earth. Just as he was about to charge back, the immortal elder of heavenly fate, who was burning his life force, entangled him, making it difficult for him to escape. Meanwhile, Death Flame was being held back by another demigod of the immortal Tao. All demons in the demon race's camp charged toward the central altar. The demon cultivators fighting the army of resurrected powerhouses in the Sky Ravine also hurried toward the demon race's camp. The remaining resurrected powerhouses managed to escape with their lives and quickly retreated from the immortal demon battlefield under the leadership of venerated Buddha Cavern Demon. The central altar instantly became the center of the immortal demon battlefield. Countless demons surged toward it like an ocean. It's far from enough to destroy just one central altar. After Su Fong destroyed the central altar with the Xianming lightning scroll, he didn't stop at all. He resolutely flew toward a nearby altar, but soon he was surrounded by the surging waves of the devil army. Su Fong faced such a large devil army, and found it difficult to break free for a while, falling into a heavy encirclement. Su Fong fought alone in the midst of the demon army. He carried with him an unwavering momentum, like a general on a killing spree, galloping through tens of millions of demon cultivators. Su Fong, you won't be able to escape this time. A peak high-level Dao Realm Demon Elder rushed back from the front lines. This was a demon powerhouse who'd been cleansed with the blood of the demonic god. He no longer transformed into the heavenly demon of the great world, but possessed the characteristics of all demons in the universe. His surging demonic aura also contained the aura of the demonic god. Go to hell. The demon powerhouse stepped forward, carrying with him a terrifying momentum that could crush everything as he headed straight for Su Fong. Roar! Su Fong let out an earth-shattering roar. His physical body underwent an astonishing change. He transformed into a divine dragon more than 300 feet long. Using the divine ability of the dragon race, he fiercely collided with the demon elder again and again. Boom! 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 At this time, Su Fong's dragon-subduing true body had transformed once again. After transforming into the divine dragon state, he could fight with the advanced Dao Realm powerhouse. However, there's still a big gap before the dragon-subduing true body matured. It was difficult for him to contend with the peak Dao Realm powerhouse. He was suppressed by the demon elder. The dragon scales on his body fell off layer by layer. His flesh and blood were corroded by the demonic aura. It was a shocking sight. Barbarian God. Su Fong secretly issued an order to Barbarian God, Demon Venerable. He originally planned to let the Barbarian God Demon continue to lurk among the demons, but at this moment, he couldn't care less about keeping anything. Huff! The Barbarian God, Demon Venerable, appeared from the surrounding demon army. Barbarian God, the Lord of the Demon Realm, let you guard the demon camp, but you let an immortal ant destroy the central altar, causing the demons to fail. Not only you, the entire Barbarian God clan can't escape the punishment of the Lord of the Demon Realm. At this time, you actually want to compete with me for the credit. Why don't you retreat to the side? This demon elder was the patriarch of the 12 great demon clans. He had always been at odds with the Man clan. With the awakening of Barbarian God Demon Venerable from his dormant state, the Man clan's status in the demon race rapidly rose. Barbarian God Demon Venerable was also highly regarded by the Lord of the Demon Realm. Naturally, he was hated by the other great clans. However, with his strength, no one could do anything to him. At this time, the Demon Elder naturally wouldn't let go of the opportunity to suppress Barbarian God Demon Venerable. He thought that Barbarian God Demon Venerable appeared at this time to compete with him for the credit of killing Su Fong. After a cold shout, he attacked Su Fong recklessly. Clack, clack, clack. Su Fong withdrew from the dragon, subduing true body. After forming a seal, his physical body crazily grew. Golden electric currents flickered, and he quickly turned into a 60-meter tall giant. Mysterious patterns appeared on the skin of his body, like the totems of some mysterious race in ancient times. As Su Fong's world of yin and yang continued to increase, Su Fong not only became taller and more powerful in his gigantified state, but the aura on his body was also completely the aura of a deity in the myriad worlds. He was like a majestic war god that had descended. At the same time, Great Barbarian God Demon Palm. Barbarian God Demon Venerable struck out with a palm print, releasing a terrifying aura that could overturn heaven and earth. It was a 100-meter huge palm. Barbarian God, you actually dare to compete with me for the credit. Barbarian God, what are you doing? The demon elder was covered by the divine might that blotted out the sky and the sun. He immediately turned pale with fright. Barbarian God, you actually betrayed the demon race. Only then did the demon elder understand that Barbarian God Demon Venerable didn't want to compete with him for the credit of killing Su Fong, but wanted to kill him. Boom! Barbarian God Demon Venerable obtained a drop of Demon God's blood from the Demon Realm Lord, and his strength recovered to the peak state of ancient times. He was even more powerful than ordinary peak Dao realm experts, which was second only to demigod experts. At this time, he launched a sneak attack and used his full strength. How could the demon elder resist in a hurry? Under barbarian god, demon venerable's world-destroying attack, the demon elder's aura was instantly shattered. The demon aura on his body dissipated, and he was sent flying like a cannonball. Herculean divine palm. Clang! Su Fang's arms shook, and a golden palm print that was more than 100 feet in size appeared. Before the demon elder could stabilize his body, the golden palm print smashed into the demon elder's body with an unstoppable force. The Herculean palm was ferocious and incomparably tyrannical. Now that Su Fang had activated it with all his might, even a peak Dao Realm Devil Clan expert would find it hard to withstand it. Furthermore, this Devil Clan old man was in a heavily injured state, his body shattered by the palm imprint. Boom, boom, boom. Barbarian God Demon Venerable attacked again, activating the great barbarian demon god palm and bombarding the demon elder's body. Barbarian God, you betrayed the demon race. Even if I die, I won't let you have a good time. The demon elder, who was equivalent to a peak Dao realm expert, let out an angry and unwilling roar. The demon aura on his body burned crazily. He actually planned to use his physical body and demon aura to perish together with barbarian god Demon Venerable. APMB Chi. From Su Fang's eyes, a sun god arrow suddenly shot out, shooting into the demon elder's head like lightning. The sun god's power, which had a fatal restraining ability against demons, burst out, and the demon elder's head exploded. Big? Xian? Xian? Xianji? Phew, a blood-colored jade seal was struck out by Su Fang. After quickly forming a seal, he activated the jade seal with demon aura. It was big. Xian? APMB big? Xian? School? Xian Ji Xianji? Bin? Xian Ji Xianji Nyo? Badlai Xianji? Central Coast Jean? Xianji? Xian 3? Yuan? Xian? Xian? Xianji? Swollen Xian? Ji? Xian? Ji Xian? Xianji? There was a sizzling sound. How big? Xianji bin? Xianji Xian? Ji Xian? Ji Xian? Xianji? Xianji Xian? Ji Xian? Ji Xian? Xian Ji Xian? Xian Ji Xian? Enzyme, Civ Xian, Ji Xian, Ji Xian APMB big? Xian Angle Xian, Ji Qian, Ji Rong, Ji's words contradicted? Yo? Xing Xian Hui Xian, Ji Zhaoxi, Qing Xian Ji Qian, Xian Lian, Xian, Xian, Xian Ji Qian Ji Qian Ji Fu. It turned out that Su Fang actually used the blood and soul of this peak demon expert as a seal and activated it here, releasing a terrifying power that could suppress a peak Dao realm expert. Barbarian God, destroy the altar! Su Fang did not hesitate to give the order. Demon Venerable Barbarian God opened a path in front, killing a bloody path in the demon army, and arrived in front of an altar. Many demon cultivators woke up from the intense shock brought by Demon Venerable Barbarian God's betrayal and the death of a peak demon expert. They once again madly swarmed towards Su Fang and Demon Venerable Barbarian God. Big? Xian? Xianjimin aura lingered around Su Fang's body, like an evil demon god, forming a seal to activate Big? Xian? Roar! 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 Boom! APMB Big? Xianji is identical to Xian, Ji Xian, Ji Xianji, also Xianji Xianji, Xianji bin, Jiaoji, Xian Jiji, Xian, Xianji, Xian GP, AP, NB equals _ our download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1639. A series of blood-colored demonic patterns intertwined into a huge network, covering a range of thousands of miles, like a jade seal, leaving a mark on the earth. With a divine power covered, countless blood shadows flashed out, like ghosts devouring life, instantly drilling into the bodies of the demonic cultivators. The demonic cultivators below the high level of the Tao realm couldn't defend against any demonic chi or demonic technique. Hiss. The blood shadows quickly drilled out of the demonic cultivators' bodies. These demonic cultivators seemed to be infected with some terrible and evil plague. The skin on the surface of their bodies fell off layer by layer, and their flesh turned into thick water, emitting a foul smell. In a split second, in a range of thousands of miles, screams and cries rose one after another, like a plague, instantly taking away the lives of tens of thousands of demonic cultivators. Except for the demonic cultivators who were equivalent to the Tao realm, the other tens of millions of cultivators all turned into pus in just a few breaths, turning the area around the altar into a gloomy and terrifying hell of death. A PMB big? Xian? Worth threatening Huangge? Ping Huan? Zheng? Leader coward? Black Valley Imperial Qiaozhu said Manxianjia? Alliance Zhuangjiao? Ship Colorful and Insignia Reed Nephi, Fern Su Fong, killed young Master Qiming and got big? Xian? Song Hui Huangjiao? Will Breaking Punishment? Huan? Rolling Dumpling Female Embarrassment? Palm Nashia Reed Nephi? Smashing Cormorant Wing Jiao? Yikong Knockingwood? Huaji? And Bo? Ruaji? Therefore, strong planting corridor constriction APMB is just a big catalyst? Xian female deceitful confusion? Colorful sheath? Set Xiao bathing APNB, Su Fong activates da? Xian female deceitful confusion? Mechanical uncovered still kind? Xia. Zhong Xian Yao. I. Yu. E. Xi Yao Ji Lu. Fu Xia. Na Fandi Lu. E. Di Lu. Russell and Pry. Sodium. Shu. Purple Chi Dharma Spirit. Su Fong activated his purple Chi Dharma Spirit, and, at the same time, he activated his Monarch's Chi. A Supreme Monarch's Chi burst out, engulfing both inside and outside his body. Xian's poem is like a peony enchantment. Crisp? Barium gadoliniana, Gui, destroy the iron pillars on the altar. Su Fong naturally did not feel the slightest bit of pity for the devil race. At this moment, he was like an evil god of death, causing the evil and brutal devil race to tremble and cower in fear. As a result, there was an empty space around the central altar where the devil race army was. APMB accepts Cheetah, Xian, Hydra, run and beat the coward Gege, transformed into the Yellow Springs Blood Sea state. With a whoosh, it rolled out and coiled around the iron pillar. The blood water swirled and whistled wildly, containing extremely toxic blood water, quickly corroded the devil runes on the iron pillar. The iron pillar, which couldn't be shaken by the king-grade flying sword, was corroded layer by the blood water, and finally collapsed. It turns out that Su Fong got the devil race's battle plan through the barbarian god, and it was the barbarian god who provoked the war between the devil race and the resurrected powerhouse. The Lord of the Devil Realm had been paying attention to the depths of the devil race's camp. When he saw the barbarian god, Archdevil, make a move, he suddenly understood, and all the doubts in his heart were answered. Immediately, the Lord of the Devil Realm fell into incomparable shock and anger. The barbarian god Archdevil was an ancient powerhouse of the devil race, the ancestor of the barbarian clan. Su Fong actually made such a powerhouse betray the devil race. What kind of incredible thing was this? What made the Lord of the Devil Realm even more shocked was that Su Fong not only fused with Da, Xian, Muluan, Gu. With the destruction of this iron pillar, the connection between Ming Yin and the devil race's powerhouse in the universe weakened a little. His strength fell again, and he barely maintained the state of a demigod. The old man who fought with Ming Yin was seriously injured, and he couldn't compete with Ming Yin at all. At most, he could entangle Ming Yin and couldn't get away. But at this time, Ming Yin's strength was greatly reduced, and the old man actually had the upper hand. Su Fong, the Lord of the Devil Realm's pair of deep eyes flashed with ruthlessness and decisiveness. At the next moment, the boss was stunned. The body of the Lord of the demonic realm spurted out waves of demonic aura, which then separated from his body and rapidly condensed into a doppelganger with the same appearance and aura as the Lord of the demonic realm. The doppelganger activated the demonic god, overturning the heaven's seal, and exploded with a terrifying aura that could overturn the heavens as it madly charged towards immortal elder destiny. Divine ghost transformation demonic art. Immortal heavenly fate's divine light changed in an instant. The divine ghost transformation demonic art was a supreme forbidden art of the devil race. It was different from the clones of immortal Tao cultivators. By using the divine ghost transformation demonic art, one could create a clone that was identical to the Lord of the Devil Realm and had almost the same strength as the Lord of the Devil Realm. However, using the divine ghost transformation demonic art had a great taboo. After using it, the clone couldn't be maintained for too long, and after using it, its strength would be severely damaged, and even its cultivation realm would permanently drop. In order to kill Su Fong, the Lord of the Devil Realm didn't hesitate to use such a forbidden art. It was obvious how angry and hateful he was towards Su Fong. Su Fong, be careful. Immortal heavenly fate warned Su Fongda. At the same time, he burned what little life force he had left, hoping to kill the Lord of the Devil Realm's clone as soon as possible so that he could rescue Su Fong. The Lord of the Devil Realm's Lord of the Devil Realm stepped into the void, and no one could stop him. In the blink of an eye, the Lord of the Devil Realm came to a place only 100 miles away from Su Fong. To a demigod, this distance was no different from being right in front of them. Devil Domain Prison Shackles. The Lord of the Devil Realm shouted coldly, and then separated his hands, exploding with a terrifying divine might. The 100 miles of space instantly turned into a Devil Domain world. Faint black devil light flickered in the surroundings, condensing into chains as thick as buckets, interweaving into a huge cage in the space. A terrifying, shackling force came from all directions. Not only Su Fong and Gue, but even Demon Venerable Barbarian God found it difficult to move. The chains quickly contracted towards Su Fong, about to shackle Su Fong, Demon Venerable Barbarian God, and Gue. Su Fong, this Lord will make you suffer a fate worse than death. The Lord of the Devil Realm stepped forward step by step, his eyes burning with angry devil flames, and his aura became incomparably violent. Dragon Bird, Sun God's arrow. Su Fong felt a fatal danger approaching, and did not hesitate to release the dragon bird from his body. The dragon bird looked up to the sky and let out a high-pitched cry that was like a dragon, but not a dragon, like a phoenix, but not a phoenix, and burst out with the divine might of the sun that swept away all evil forces, forcibly melting a large part of the Lord of the Devil Realm shackles. Only then did Su Fong absorb Gue into his body. Chi, chi, chi. Under the divine might of the dragon bird, a layer of devil chi ignited on Demon Venerable Barbarian God's body, and even this ancient great demon found it difficult to withstand the divine might of the dragon bird. APMB Chi, the sun god's arrow burst out, tearing apart the divine might shackles of the Lord of the Devil Realm, and piercing a hole in the Devil Domain prison. The power of the sun god's arrow was still not completely exhausted, and shot toward the Lord of the Devil Realm. Mutated divine beast, in the deep eyes of the Lord of the Devil Realm, a hint of fear flashed. Even if the power of the sun god's arrow was not exhausted, it would be difficult for it to pose too much of a threat to the Lord of the Devil Realm. But the divine might of the sun made the Lord of the Devil Realm have an instinctive fear. A ray of devil chi burst out of the Lord of the Devil Realm's eyes, colliding with the sun god's arrow like a sword, and destroying the sun god's arrow. Chi, chi, chi. The dragon bird shot 3 sun god's arrows in a row, and its aura suddenly became sluggish and was absorbed into the heaven and earth Tao palace by Su Fong. The expression of the Lord of the Devil Realm changed slightly, and he raised his spirit to dissolve the power of the sun god's arrow. Boom, boom. In this short instant, Su Fong and Demon Venerable Barbarian God attacked at the same time. Su Fong urged the power of thunder punishment, while demon Venerable Barbarian God used the great barbarian demon god Palm, bombarding the hole in the devil domain prison that was torn open by the sun god's arrow. The devil chi chains broke one after another, and the shackles disappeared. Barbarian God covered the retreat. Su Fong urged the sword pill, and he was enveloped by a spatial distortion divine might, instantly escaping hundreds of miles away. Meanwhile, demon Venerable Barbarian God charged towards the Lord of the Devil realm without fear. His body burned with raging devil flames, and he actually burned his own devil chi and life force, causing his aura to reach the peak of high-level Tao realm, and he had the strength of a demigod expert. If it was any other subordinate, Su Fong would never let them sacrifice themselves to save himself. However, demon Venerable Barbarian God was different. Su Fong didn't have any feelings for him. Moreover, after demon Venerable Barbarian God awakened, he no longer had his own consciousness. Although he was extremely powerful, Su Fong had no choice but to sacrifice him at such a critical moment. Boom, boom, boom. Under demon Venerable Barbarian God's desperate obstruction, the Lord of the Devil realm actually couldn't escape for a while. Above the Immortal Paths camp, the Lord of the Devil realm's clone, formed by his divine ability, also couldn't hold on for long under the divine might of Immortal Elder Tianji's great Tao of heavenly secrets. Two of the altars used to communicate with the myriad worlds had been destroyed, especially the central one. Not only had Death Blaze's strength greatly decreased, but the time it could maintain this state was also greatly reduced. At most, it would return to its original state in half an incense stick's time. However, how could the Lord of the Devil realm let Su Fong escape? Boom! The Lord of the Devil realm used the Devil God overturning the heaven's seal and forced demon Venerable Barbarian God back. Next, the Lord of the Devil realm released 6 devil race elites, each of them emitting a cold and murderous aura that seemed to come from hell. Devil God Battle Slaves. These 6 Devil God Battle Slaves all had the strength of peak Tao realm, but their aura was unstable. It was obvious that they used a special method to forcefully increase their strength. Su Fong, who was running away, immediately sensed the existence of his second primordial spirit using the great Tao of heavenly secrets life shrinking technique, and his body couldn't help but stop. Slash! The Lord of the Devil realm's forehead suddenly split open, forming a vertical devil eye. It shot out a devil light and formed a devil blade that was thousands of feet long. The aura that came out of the devil blade was a divine-level devil artifact. The Lord of the Devil realm first used a forbidden spell of the devil race, and now he used a divine-level devil artifact. It was obvious that he had used up a lot of energy, and his aura became much weaker. In an instant, the devil blade traveled through space and slashed towards Su Fong with an aura that could split the sky and shatter everything. Su Fong felt a fatal danger approaching. A layer of cold sweat seeped out of his back in a split second. =R download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review.